Presented by Honda. We've been fans since day one. Honda, official vehicle of the Toronto Blue Jays and proud fan since 1977.
And as we welcome you back to Rogers Center, the Blue Jays taking the field for the final game of this series against the visiting Boston Red Sox. Marco Estrada is going to be on the mound for the Jays tonight. Alex Cora, first-year manager of the Red Sox, has them off to a great start with a record of 18-5, and they have been one of the best offensive teams in baseball so far this season. Mitch Moreland's not playing every day, but when he's in there, he's doing just fine. 341 of the season, 429 over his last 10 games. And the Blue Jays just have not had an answer for Brock Holt in this series. 6 for 8, including a couple of doubles.
Well, Marco Estrada with a chance to pitch the Blue Jays to a series win against Boston makes his 5th start of the season. Last time out, Marco won in New York as he pitched 5 innings against the Yankees, despite the fact he gave up 3 home runs in that game. Second career win when allowing 3 or more home runs, and Marco needs to really get ahead tonight. We talked about it with Sanchez last night. Sanchez fell behind Mookie Betts 2-0, and Betts hit the 3rd pitch out of the ballpark to get the Sox off and running. But Marco's command of his changeup is key. He has the ability to locate it when he's really throwing it well, and also the key in my mind is his high fastball. He's got to be able to throw that and get swings from this Red Sox lineup. We have seen them strike out a lot in this series when they're chasing that high fastball.
Defensively, the 2 out of 3 situation continues behind the plate, Buck, and that means it's Luke Mailey's turn again.
Yeah, it sure is, and Mailey has caught, this is the 3rd of the 5 starts he's caught. Actually, Martin and Mailey have both caught Estrada for 11 innings this season. But Luke's had the chance to sit on the bench and watch the first 2 games and make mental notes about the high fastball and its value so far in this series. It worked really well for Jay Happ in the opener when Boston struck out 14 times in the first game on Tuesday night.
Well, let's see how Estrada fares against Mookie Betts, who leads it off for the Red Sox. He hit 2 home runs last night for Boston, including a leadoff home run off Aaron Sanchez. Betts already has 8 homers on the season. And the first pitch of the night on the outside corner of the knees for a called strike. And we are underway here in Toronto. Estrada's got very good numbers against just about everybody in this Boston lineup tonight. If you add up the numbers of all 9 of them against Estrada in their careers, they're 21 for 126. That's a 167 collective average for the Boston lineup tonight. Hanley Ramirez really the only guy with some decent numbers against Estrada.
Well, the one guy that has hit him in the past isn't here, and that's Dustin Pedroia. So that's good news for Marco. He has pitched very well against this lineup, and it's all about pitching ahead and keeping them off balance.
And a pop-up. Smoke and Travis are both there, and it'll be Smoke. 1 down.
Everybody takes a deep breath when you retire Mookie Betts to start the ball game, and that's a good way for Marco Estrada to start. Watch Betts go back to the dugout after popping out for the first out of the game. And Marco needs to get into the flow of the game a little bit. I think it's really important for him to have a couple of quick innings under his belt just to really get into the rhythm of the game.
Number 2 hitter for the Red Sox is their left fielder Andrew Benintendi, who's over his last 15 right now. He's had a tough series already tonight. 5 pitches in. We always like to talk pitch selection with Marco Estrada. He's already thrown a cutter and he's already thrown a curveball in the first 5 pitches of this game.
Yeah, and he threw them both very well. And there's a fastball at 90 that Benintendi's late on. You know, anytime you can throw your second and third pitches over for strikes, it puts a little more hesitation in the hitter's mind.
Out in front, 0-2. And there's the changeup and a beauty, and he makes quick work of Benintendi.
Well, Marco, when he sells that changeup, it's unhittable, and that's what he did to Benintendi. The changeup, you can see the four-seam spin, but what really got Benintendi was the way that Marco killed it with his legs. He sold it with the fastball arm action and took the velocity off by not using his legs on that last pitch.
So a couple of quick outs for Estrada, and here's Hanley Ramirez. He is DHing tonight with JD Martinez in right field. and Mitch Moreland at first base. Martinez generally the DH and Hanley generally at first, but when they get Moreland in there, they move some people around. Ramirez off to a good start, as you can see. Blue Jays won in dramatic fashion on Tuesday. The Curtis Granderson 10th inning home run. The Red Sox with a 4-3 win last night. And a call might have been a little bit low, and that's what Hanley Ramirez is saying. But Estrada gets the benefit of that call, and he's out in front 0-2.
Ramon de Jesus is the home plate umpire tonight. He is the first umpire from the Dominican Republic. He got into the big leagues last year. He's a full-time umpire this season. He's got a very consistent strike zone.
There's the cutter.
Yeah. Just putting that in your mind. When you think about it, we talk about pitcher's presentation and how everything you do on the mound affects an outcome. The first inning, every Red Sox batter is watching every pitch. So now he's put the cutter and the curveball in their minds in the first inning.
Until he does that, do you think some teams, rightly or wrongly, have the perception of Estrada being a two-pitch guy, fastball changeup?
Yes, I do. And he's not a two-pitch guy, but you can see how everybody's watching Estrada, trying to get a read on what they're going to get. Christian Vasquez is locked in on him. Brock Holt, he doesn't need to watch. He's so hot.
2-2 on the way. And up high, a full count.
But I think what's happened to Marco, starting last year, I think hitters started to look up for his fastball. Said, you know what, I can't hit the changeup, so he's going to give me a fastball. I just have to make sure I don't miss it.
Two down and the base is empty, and a full count pitch coming to Ramirez, and a changeup bounced foul. He'll throw it in any count to both righties and lefties. Estrada throwing his changeup about 32% of the time last year, second most in baseball. And there's the numbers we talked about. Hanley Ramirez really the only guy in the Boston lineup tonight who's had some decent success against Marco Estrada. Fastball grounded into right field, a base hit for Ramirez.
Ramirez had a 3-hit game on Tuesday night. He was hitless last night, but with this 3-2 pitch, they're set up outside, and Ramirez, he understands how to hit. He's a former batting champ. Just takes that pitch, drives it past Devin Travis into right field.
So 2-out single for Ramirez, and that'll bring J.D. Martinez to the plate. Martinez hitting .296, 4 home runs in the early going. Big hole on the right side with Ramirez being held on by Smoke. And Travis shading Martinez up the middle as Estrada misses up and away for ball 1.
You see the Blue Jays throughout this series have pitched Martinez away. Now that might seem like it's the wrong approach because he's got power to right center, but he takes the ball on the inner half and hits it in that direction.
High fly ball to left field. Hernandez deep in the corner has just enough room to make the catch. And had all kinds of possibilities, but it works out as well as it can for Estrada and the Blue Jays. half of the inning, and now the Blue Jays will take their hacks against one of the best in Chris Sale. Here's a look at the Blue Jay lineup tonight. He is staying hot, and he is staying at the top of the lineup. Steve Pearce, look at what he's done in the last 7 games for the Blue Jays. And Randall Grichuk, who hasn't played much lately, is in there tonight, and here's why. 1 game in his career against Chris Sale, 3 for 4, including a double and a home.
Well, there aren't many guys that hit him at all, so you might as well get Grichuk in there, and Chris Sale is a terrific pitcher. Sale, for the Blue Jays, he has really been tough on them. He's made 9 career starts. He's 3-2. This season, this is his 6th start of the year, and he's off to another great start. Opponents hitting just over 200. His whip is below 1, and he's averaging 12.72 strikeouts per 9 innings. He and Jay Happ are tied for strikeouts per 9 innings. But he's tough. He creates a lot of difficult angles. He changes speeds very well, and when he gets on the mound, like I said earlier, he gets locked in. He's got one thing on his mind, and that's beating.
Blue Jays got to him late in the season last year at Fenway, but he was dominant in his 3 starts here. And the low strike is in favor for both sides. It looks like Marco Estrada got a call or 2, and now Chris Sale looks like he might have gotten one against Pearce.
That's all you're concerned about if you're a hitter. Just be consistent.
Fastball, slider, changeup, all of them plus pitches. And Pearce quickly in the hole, 0-2. He'll be followed by Teoscar Hernandez and then Justin Smoke.
See, already we have seen 92, 87, 94. And that reminds me of Pedro Martinez. When he pitched, you never got 2 pitches at the same velocity in the same inning. Chris Sale can do the same thing.
Right in on his hands. You talk about getting jammed. Soft liner for out number 1 as we set the defense behind Chris Sale here tonight.
Well, Mookie Betts is starting in center field with the ability to play center and right. He was the everyday center field in 2015. Hanley Ramirez was in left, and they used 8 different starters in right. So the next year, Jackie Bradley Jr. took over in center. Mookie Betts moved to right, especially at Boston. Right field is such a difficult field to play. Mookie Betts handles it perfectly. Tonight, Jackie Bradley gets the start of this game off.
Teoscar Hernandez steps in against Sale. Hernandez hitting .310, 3 homers, 10 driven in 10 games with the Blue Jays. As everybody knows who follows this team, he is making the most of the opportunity that he's been given. There's that slider for Sale, but it stays outside at a ball and a strike. Hernandez in left field tonight. He was in right field last night, in left field 2 nights ago. Slider again down and away, 2 balls and a strike. Hernandez has 3 at-bats in his career against Sale, and he's got a hit, and that hits a home run. Takes inside of the knees, 3 balls and a strike. One guy who's got some good numbers against Sale, but he's not in the lineup tonight, is Kendrys Morales. And again, talking about Grichuk, John Gibbons wanting to get him in, and Grichuk with some good numbers against Sale, albeit in limited at-bats, so Morales is the odd man out tonight. Check the swing, the appeal didn't go, and Hernandez will draw a 1-out walk.
Well, Chris Sale has always been tough on the Blue Jays when he's pitching here at Rogers Center. He loves pitching on this mound. He's very comfortable on the mound at Rogers Center. And his numbers reflect that. His ERA is under 1, his whip well under 1. And the Blue Jays have hit just .153 while he's pitching here at Rogers Center. And you know what? We used to hear Roger Clemens rave about the mound here at Rogers Center and how he liked pitching on the mound. Chris Sale has the same feel when he gets out there. It just feels comfortable for him.
Didn't allow a single run in 3 starts in this ballpark last year. Justin Smoke, he's going to drop one into shallow right for a base hit. Hernandez will make the turn, head to third, and be in there in a slide.
Teoscar Hernandez has done everything you want from a ball player. He has played well in the outfield. He's got big hits, and right there he had a great trip around the bases. He has played on this turf. He understands what outfielders are dealing with. Smoke hits it off the end of the bat. J.D. Martinez is in right field, and watch how he holds up, and he knows he's going to have to play it on a bounce because he's not going to get it. Once Teoscar saw that, he knows it's going to bounce high, and he gambled and went first to third. Great piece of base running. Watch how he sizes up the situations, and he's not going to catch it, so right here he takes off and just gambles on that bounce going high, and it did. Very aggressive by Hernandez.
Yangervis Solarte, first pitch swinging, sends one down the right side and just back into the seats. Well, you may not get many chances against a guy like Sale. The Blue Jays have a great opportunity here in the first. Again, just another example of where this team's just a little bit faster, a little bit more athletic than they've been in recent years. What Teoscar Hernandez did on that play.
Well, we saw hit and run here in game 1 on Tuesday night, and Hernandez puts pressure on Sale in the first inning. You get a walk, a blue pit, and a good piece of base running. You got to take advantage.
The 0-1, and it hit him. The movement on that slider ran right in and gets Solarte, it looks like, on the inside of the right knee to load the bases. And that's a painful trip down to first for Solarte. If he can do it. Man.
Yeah, he got hit flush, and he's just trying to get the feeling back right now. Nicky Huffman, the head trainer for the Blue Jays, out to attend to Solarte, trying to get an assessment for where he got hit. But it was a big sweeping slider.
If they needed another third baseman, that's probably the guy right there, given the current configuration of the team. They could put Martin in. They could move Gurriel there, but he's barely played third. He's more of a second short and actually a little bit of outfield. Solarte trying to walk it off. Obviously, he wants to stay in the game.
And you're right, they need him to stay in the game. He's not coming out of the game, but watch how this big sweeping breaking ball tracks inside. And where does it hit him? Yeah, right on the kneecap with the right knee. And he took a flush shot.
You hear the expression back foot slider because a guy like Sale, Randy Johnson, could do it. It would look like a strike, and you could swing at it, and the ball might hit you in the back foot. That one, unfortunately for Solarte, hit him in the back knee. But he's going to stay in the game. And the Blue Jays, on a walk, a blue pit, and a hit batter, have the bases loaded with one out for Kevin Pillar. I asked Pillar, how do you feel about Sale? He goes, I love facing Chris Sale. He said he's always in attack mode. He's not a nibbler. Pillar's not a fan of a guy. Nibble here, little change up there. Sale comes right after you.
Well, you have to make sure you get a strike. Kevin chased one that was upstairs because he anticipated it was going to be a strike.
And again. He's smelling potential RBIs out there. Bases loaded, one out. Trying to give the club an early lead. And Pillar has expanded his strike zone on a couple of swings.
Sam has given up a .389 average with the bases loaded and 4 grand slams. So you really got to take advantage of him, especially in the first inning.
0-2, and somehow Pillar climbs the ladder and sends that fly ball to deep right center field, and plenty deep enough to get a run home. Tagging and coming in to score, Hernandez to give the Blue Jays a 1-0 lead.
Well, tip your cap to Kevin Pillar because he had a game plan that he was going to be aggressive, and he chased 2 high fastballs and got one that was even higher, but hit it deep enough into right field to pick up the sac fly and get the Blue Jays an early lead. Watch this pitch. They want it upstairs and they throw it higher than high, but Pillar gets on top of it and hits it deep enough to the outfield. That's just a determined at bat right there.
RBI number 10 on the season for Pillar when the Jays have an early lead. Now here's Lourdes Gurriel Jr. getting his first look at Sale, and he'll take a strike up at the top end of the zone. Gurriel 4 for 15 since joining the Blue Jays. 3 RBIs, a stolen a base. He's played some second, he's played some short, and he has impressed some people in his brief time in the major leagues. He's at short tonight. Travis at second. Diaz not in the lineup tonight for the Blue Jays.
And tell you what, Gurriel is not timid, and he hasn't been intimidated by facing major league pitching. He had a great swing at that last pitch. It was a 95-mile-an-hour fastball, the best fastball Sale has thrown so far.
Solarte still trying to walk off the pain in that right knee out at first base. Smokes at second. We've seen some battle in Lourdes Gurriel. When he gets a couple of strikes on him, we've seen him foul off tough pitches. His own big brother, Yuli Gurriel, for the Houston Astros, says, you know what, he's better than I am. Talking about his little brother Lourdes. He thinks the Blue Jays have something here, and I think the Blue Jays think they have something here. A fly ball hit to right center field. It's pretty well struck and caught by J.D. Martinez on the warning track to save at least a run, maybe two, and get Sale out of the inning. Lourdes Gurriel Jr. gave it a ride. Martinez with a nice running catch.
Ball game after getting hit by the pitch in his very first at bat, and that's a good thing for Blue Jays fans. You see, when general manager Ross Atkins traded for Solarte back in January, he shared that the team had internal discussions about Solarte for quite some time, dating all the way back to the end of last season. Now, Atkins liked Solarte's reputation in the clubhouse, his versatility, but he also had what he called, quote, a nice offensive track record. And he showed that last night as he cranked his 6th home run of the season in his 21st game as a Blue Jay. He didn't hit that many with the Padres last year until his 64th game. And yes, hitting at Petco Park doesn't help, but if you look at his spray chart and place the Rogers Center dimensions over it, you'll see a few of those fly ball outs, well, they would count as home runs here at Rogers Center. And Dan, of course, that's not an exact science because all of his at-bats won't be here, but really it's more indicative of how Solarte's power now plays up in smaller American League East ballparks.
Sure does, Hazel. Thank you. And I don't know how many people would have thought, granted there's an injury, Josh Donaldson is out, but how many people would have thought in any situation that Yangervis Solarte would have become the regular cleanup hitter for this team right now?
Yeah, and it has a lot to do with his versatility. He's a switch hitter first and foremost, and I think initially he wanted to break up Smoke and Morales, so you thought about that as a possibility.
You know, every year you have to remind yourself that the way things look when whatever team you follow breaks camp is not the way they're going to look a month or a week later, a month later, 3 months later. You know, Hernandez is up, Gurriel is up, Morales kind of a part-time player right now, Donaldson hurt.
Changes quickly, doesn't it?
It really does. It's a long season with a lot of ebb and flow. Mitch Moreland lifts one in foul territory back in the seats.
Yeah, everybody gets wrapped up in spring training talking about, oh, who's going to make the opening day roster? Well, who cares? It's going to change in 5 or 6 days. Everybody has injuries. Everybody makes changes. A lot of teams start with 4 starting pitchers. Gurriel started at Double-A, got hot. See, the difference with Gurriel is he's on a major league contract, a 7-year contract, so the clock was ticking on him.
Outside, 2 balls, 2 strikes. Estrada tried a little backdoor cutter there against Moreland, but missed away. Gave up a base hit, but nothing more in the first inning. 5th start of the year for Marco Estrada in his 4th season with the Blue Jays. It looks like, and he usually does, but it looks like he's got a pretty good changeup tonight. If he can locate it, it's you can see they're a little uneasy in the box when it's coming in.
That's when he's at his best, when he's locating his changeup to both sides of the plate.
And a fastball at 90 that Moreland swings through for the first out.
Yeah, Marco has done a good job of creating a bit of hesitation in the approach of the Red Sox hitters because he threw cutters and curveballs in the first inning. Moreland got a changeup off the plate prior to this pitch, and he's laid on a 90-mile-an-hour fastball. You ask most hitters in the American League, they'll tell you, boy, I'd love to get a 90-mile-an-hour fastball, and that 1,000 indicative of Marco's career 1,000 strikeout.
Nice milestone for him. He's not the kind of guy to react in the middle of the game, maybe even after the game, to that kind of thing. Broke in with Washington back in 2008. Really didn't become a regular starter in the majors until 2012 when he was 28 years old. That was with Milwaukee. Put up a couple of good years for the Brewers. His last year didn't go quite as well. Almost half of his 1,000 strikeouts have come as a member of the Blue Jays. I think his best year overall probably was his first year in Toronto. 13-8 with a 3.13 ERA. And had some really terrific performances in the postseason as well. Had a great game against Kansas City in the ALCS back in 2015 to extend the series at that point.
He pitched the 2 most important games during that championship postseason because he cooled off Kansas City and he kept them alive in Texas when they were down.
Didn't have the feel for that changeup. 2 balls, 2 strikes. You got Mookie Betts for the first out of the night. Betts and Martinez talking it over in the first base dugout. Red Sox and Blue Jays wrapping up this series. Texas is here starting tomorrow. High fastball fouled back. Estrada now 34 years of age. He'll turn 35 in July. Originally a 6th round pick out of Long Beach by Washington back in 2005. Curveball on the appeal. No swing. Full count. A little more mix early tonight, both with the curve and the cutter.
Well, and we have to remember that both Estrada and Sale don't shake off the catcher. It's all about the catcher and the game plan they put together. So Luke Maile has been a little more creative tonight.
What a changeup. 2 down.
Well, back-to-back strikeouts, one on a fastball, this one on a changeup, and watch his follow through. See how he runs off to the side because he doesn't use his legs, and he's got to do that to balance himself. He doesn't use his legs when he throws that great changeup, and that's why he's able to throw it so effectively.
See how he attacks a very young, aggressive hitter in Rafael Devers. He starts him with the first pitch fastball at the knees. And a little cutter in on his hands right there, and it's 0-2.
Devers was off last night. He was looking fastball, got changeup. When he looked changeup, he got fastball. He had a tough night at the plate. But he's 21 years old, and he can swing it. It's been a tough stretch for him. Just 2 for his last 16.
Make it 17. High fastball to get him. And Marco Estrada strikes out the side and records career strikeout number 1,000 in the process.
tonight, the fans received their Josh Donaldson t-shirt. So come on by for Thursday night in the 6th.
Bringer of Rain t-shirts. Only thing missing, of course, is the Bringer of Rain, who everybody hopes is getting healthier down in Dunedin. Again, we were told last night that he has started, Josh Donaldson has started a throwing program. Hopefully, we'll start playing in games in a few days. Luis Rivera, DeMarlo Hale in conversation with Marco Estrada, who's been very good through the first 2 innings. What do you make of the bench coach and the third base coach, who also handles the infielders, and Rivera talking to Estrada?
Yeah, I think that's about defensive positioning. I think Marco noticed something. He brought DeMarlo Hale and Luis Rivera, who's responsible for the infield positioning, and looked like that's probably what they were talking about.
Here's Randal Grichuk, and we mentioned it off the top of the show. The reason he's in the lineup tonight, twofold really. John Gibbons doesn't want him to sit for too long. Plus, he's got some good numbers against Sale. 1 game, but 3 for 4 with a single, a double, and a homer.
Yeah, when you're trying to figure out a lineup, you look at the matchups, and there aren't a whole lot of impressive numbers for the Blue Jay hitters against Sale.
As you can imagine, a lot of people were walking around in and around the Blue Jay clubhouse saying, yeah, Grichuk must be real happy with Gibbons sticking him back in the lineup, sticking a struggling guy in the lineup against one of the very best pitchers in the game.
Yeah.
But if you're Grichuk, you're not picky. You just want to get in there when you can.
Yeah, you can't get out of a slump sitting on the bench. So you get up there and take your hacks against one of the best. And Sale, boy, since he has made the move from reliever to starter, he's been among the best. 6 years as a starter. He's never finished lower than 6th in the Cy Young voting, but hasn't won one. That's the surprise.
Vasquez and Moreland over for a look, and it's Vasquez to make the catch for the first out. The pitch tracker is brought to you by Coors Light, official beer of Major League Baseball. Dan Shulman and Buck Martinez, Hazel May with you at Rogers Center. The Blue Jays with an early 1-0 lead on the Red Sox in the final game of this series. Here's Luke Maile. In limited at bats, swinging the bat very well so far this year, 12 for 29. Has had just 1 at bat in his career against Sale. Sale was still with the White Sox then, and Maile said it was almost as if he got like a BP fastball. Sale messing with him with his timing, 87 miles an hour, and Maile said he hit it hard to center field, but it was caught. So now, as a catcher, and I imagine you were the same way too, you probably paid more attention to visiting pitchers than typical players did, I would imagine. But who knows? I guess everybody wants to know what's going on because you got to get up there and hit against him. And Maile obviously knows the kind of stuff that he is dealing with tonight in Sale.
Well, in Luke Maile's case, and it was the same for me, I always paid attention to left-handed pitchers because that's when I was going to play more than likely. So I'd make sure I'd look at the pitching lineups and make sure I knew when those guys were going to pitch.
Wow. Inside corner with the knees at 95 for out number 2.
Well, that's another good fastball, and Maile didn't have much of a chance right at the knees. The slow-mo, super slow-mo is brought to you by the Samsung S9 and S9 Plus. The camera reimagined, available now. Sale is working very quickly, which is never a good sign for the hitters.
Yeah. He is always in attack mode, both mentally and physically, out there on the mound. And he's not the only one. There are a lot of guys like that, but I mean, he gives off that attack vibe on every single pitch. Slider that just misses the outside corner. 1-1 on Devin Travis.
Yeah, when you talk about great pitchers, you talk about Gibson and Seaver and Clemens, all those guys, when they took the mound, they turned into a different person. And you just never were going to beat them.
Travis hits a ball a ton. Second deck home run. First of the season for Devin Travis. That's got to feel pretty good.
Absolutely. To hit it off anyone at this time, but then it comes off Chris Sale. It's only the 3rd home run Sale has surrendered this year. He gave up a home run to Aaron Judge and then Marcus Semien in his last start out in Oakland. And now Devin Travis. He's in the books. He's got a homer. And that's got to be a great feeling.
No, 2-0 for the Blue Jays now. Steve Pearce first pitch swinging, a pop-up for Vasquez in foul territory, and that's all for the Jays in the second. But they added to their lead. They did it on a sac fly in the first. They do it on a home run here in the second. Devin Travis gives it a ride. Start this season. Devin Travis off to a tough start this season, but you make a mistake, you can get hurt.
Watch the first pitches of this at bat. They're away, and then the third pitch, middle. Vasquez, the catcher, knew it immediately. So did Chris Sale. But Devin Travis has been scuffling, and boy, it was nice to get that pitch right out of the heart of the plate. The third home run that Sale has given up this season.
Here's Vasquez to lead off the third for the Red Sox. Blue Jays up 2-0. You never know what moment might turn a guy around, whether it's a Grichuk or a Travis, a Martin, whatever. That one at bat, that one hit, could just change your confidence level, and all of a sudden things can start going better for you. And everybody remembers what that young man did last May and what he's capable of when healthy.
Well, you know what? It's not even a hit, but it's the feeling. You can look at video, you can take BP, you can have all that good feeling, but until you feel it in the game and say, okay, that's where it is, that's my trigger. He didn't have much movement with his foot, his hand stayed back, and he was able to get the ball, hit the barrel on the ball, then that's a great feeling. You go back to the hitting coach and you go, now I see what you mean. I've been looking for that swing all season long.
You can generate a lot of power. That ball was hit hard on a line, second deck. After Vasquez, Brock Holt, then Mookie Betts. Marco Estrada threw 2, 1 hit, no walks, 4 strikeouts. Struck out the side in the second. And that has been consistently called a strike tonight. That's number 5 for Estrada.
4 in a row. And it has been consistent. That low strike has been good for both pitchers. And there's the 4-seam grip. He's going to spin it, carries right through the strike zone, stays knee high, and Luke Maile does a nice job of re-seaming it.
It's interesting because Marco generally pitches up with his 4-seamer more than down, but he's exploited the bottom end of the zone so far.
Yeah, early in the game he has. He got a couple of strikeouts early in the game on a high fastball and a changeup, but that low fastball has been good for him. He wanted that one down and missed up.
Against a hot hitter, Brock Holt 6 for 8 in the series, couple of doubles. He has really hurt the Blue Jays. He's playing every day at short with Xander Bogaerts on the DL with a knee injury. Bogaerts could be back tomorrow for the Red Sox. 0-2 curveball in the dirt.
Yeah, if I were Estrada and Maile right now with 2 strikes, I would pitch Holt inside. We have seen him throughout this series taking those balls away and just hitting him into left field. Holt's a terrific player. He's made starts for the Red Sox at every position except catcher. And he's hot now.
2-2. And a fastball lined into right center for a base hit. And Grichuk's going to have to chase it all the way to the fence. And Holt into second base. And I think he's come up hobbling. I think something got Holt between first and second. And the Red Sox saw it from the dugout. And Alex Cora is concerned with a guy who's now got 7 hits in this series. Hamstring.
Yeah, it sure is. Whether or not it's a cramp or a pull or a strain, they have to evaluate that. It looks like Holt's confident it's a cramp because he doesn't appear to be coming out. Watch him right as he goes around first, feels the back of his leg, and then is able to coast into second. Right up the top of his hamstring, and now he's running, so maybe it was just a cramp that grabbed him momentarily. You got to trust the player, to be honest with you right now. If he does more damage, and it was a strain, you're looking at weeks instead of days. He wants him to run again. Trainer wants him to run again.
The way that Holt's stretching it out suggests that he feels it's a cramp.
I mean, obviously any player never wants to come out of a game, but especially when you're hot. Remember, they don't have Dustin Pedroia, and he's not going to be available for about a month, and that's it. I think they made the right decision. There's just no way of knowing the extent of the injury in the middle of a game, so Alex Cora will call upon Ling to come off the bench, and he will take over as a pinch runner at second.
Su-Wei Lin comes in for Brock Holt. And the Red Sox lose one of the hottest hitters around right now. Jays just didn't have any answers for him in the entire 3 games.
I tell you what, I just don't understand how there are so many injuries around baseball. With older players like Adrian Beltre, who just went on a deal with a hamstring, you kind of understand it. But we're in the first month of the season, and the injuries have been all over the place.
Runner at second, 1 out, 2-0 Blue Jays, top of the third, top of the order, Mookie Betts. And a curveball down and away in the dirt for ball 1. Betts was retired on a soft liner to Justin Smoke. Smoke actually made the catch in foul territory. Estrada already with 5 strikeouts through 2 1/3. Fastball lifted in the air, shallow right center. And Pilar will call off Travis to make the catch for out number 2.
You see how Pilar called that ball very early? He's playing with a new right fielder, and they had a communication problem here at Badger Center last homestand where they got mixed up out on the warning track. You see how quickly he calls it, and that's by design. You're playing with a couple of new corner outfielders, and Pilar is the captain of the outfield. But he and Grichuk got together on a ball that Pilar actually caught, bounced off his glove, and went off the wall because he heard Grichuk coming.
And really, from night to night with Granderson and Pierce in the mix as well, it's always different for Kevin Pilar out there. He's the one constant. Andrew Benintendi struck out against Estrada back in the first.
The 5th time he's struck out in this series.
Not this time, though. Lines went into right field for a base hit, and Lynn will come in to score. Benintendi on his way to second, and safe at second, just beyond the tag attempt from Gurriel.
Well, it's difficult to keep a good hitter down for a long time. Benintendi rips this liner over Smoke into right field. Grichuk gets to it, but Benintendi, running with 2 outs, thinks about getting himself into scoring position. He knows he's knocking in a run, but he wants to get into scoring position for Hanley Ramirez behind him. And he slides in safely with his 5th double of the season.
Blue Jays thought about taking a look, but got on the phone, decided there was nothing there. So they play on with the score now 2-1. And here's Hanley Ramirez, who had a base hit off Estrada back in the first. We mentioned during that at bat, he was the one member of the Red Sox who came into the game of those in the lineup tonight with good numbers against Marco. Well located fastball right there. Ramirez and DeJesus talking about the outer reaches of the strike zone and exactly where that may be. Blue Jays got a run on the first on a sac fly by Pilar. Another run on the bottom of the second on a home run by Devin Travis off Chris Sale. And now the Red Sox have answered back with one of their own here, top 3. Earlier today, by the way, as Ramirez loses the bat on that swing. Earlier today, the Yankees stayed hot. They walked off the Twins. Beat them 4-3 on a 3-run homer in the bottom of the 9th by Gary Sanchez.
The Yankees have now won 6 in a row, while the Twins have lost 7 in a row. Fernando Rodney with his 3rd blown save, and Ramirez lost the grip on that bat. Fortunately, it was on the field and not in the seats. The Pirates had a walk-off win against the Tigers. Corey Dickerson hit a home run, a 1-0 Pirate win, and then the Cards walked off the Mets as well.
Cardinals having a good start to the year. They're 15-9. 1 ball, 2 strikes on Ramirez. Estrada trying to hang on to this lead here in the 3rd. Check of the runner, Benintendi. And it looked like Gurriel was kind of coming in behind Benintendi out at second. He made several steps towards second base and then backed off at the last moment.
Yeah, he's lucky the ball wasn't put in play. Watch Gurriel at shortstop. He's going to break in there and then notices that Estrada's not going to look at him again. So he was kind of out of position by making that move toward the bat.
2-2. And a change up in the dirt for a full count. Estrada's over 50 pitches right now as he works with 2 down in the 3rd, and the dangerous JD Martinez looms in the on deck circle if Estrada cannot get Ramirez. This is a team that will make you work. They will make you throw pitches. 3-2. Ball 4. Went with the change again. And a walk to Ramirez will bring up Martinez.
You mentioned the Red Sox lineup. They got a lot of veteran hitters in their lineup, and they will identify pitches they want to swing at, and that changeup wasn't close. So Ramirez takes the walk. But they're going to make adjustments, and you saw them talking earlier in the ball game on the bench about what they're seeing from Estrada.
There's JD Martinez hit a high fly ball to deep left field his first time up. Hernandez had time to run underneath it on the warning track right in the corner.
That was a changeup that he was out in front just a bit, but he's so strong he hit it to the warning track.
Got him out at second. So they do put a play on it, but they do it with Travis. And Estrada picks off Benintendi to end the top of the 3rd. And no argument from Benintendi. Travis playing right up the middle, and a perfect throw it looked like from Estrada. And that's going to be all for Boston in the top of the 3rd. You can't do it much better than that.
blitz. It's the Sharks and the Golden Knights round 2 tonight on CBC and Sportsnet later this evening. Dan.
Should be a terrific series. Thank you, Hazel. Of course, folks here in Toronto still reeling a little bit from the Game 7 loss for the Maple Leafs against the Bruins. The good news is the Raptors did win their game last night, so they're up 3-2 on Washington. Blue Jays and Red Sox in the rubber match of the 3-game series here tonight, with the Blue Jays leading Chris Sale and Boston 2-1, bottom of the third. Teoscar Hernandez was in on the fun. He walked and scored back in the first. And there's a slower breaking ball. You talked about it. On all of his pitches, he can mess with the velocity.
Yeah, that last slider was 79 miles an hour, and we have seen the slider at 87. We've seen it at 82, and that last one was a very slow, big breaker.
And a swing and a miss by Hernandez, one down.
Pitching is so much about touch and feel, and Chris Sale has a tremendous knack for backing off pitches, and he doesn't do it other than with this great sense of feel and timing. He watched the previous pitch and saw that Hernandez was vulnerable to that slider, and he came back with one that was just a little bit slower.
New shortstop Sue Lin, who of course ran for Brock Holt, stays in the game at short now for the Red Sox. Here's Justin Smoak. He had a bloop single into right field in the middle of that rally for the Blue Jays in the first inning. There's a changeup down and away at 88 miles an hour, and it's no balls, 2 strikes.
Yeah, and you know what? It takes a pitcher a long time to get to this point in his career where he doesn't think every pitch has to be 100% effort. And that's a real knack, and only the great ones can do it consistently, and I'll put Chris Sale in that category. Jay Happ has learned that now, that he can elevate the fastball and back off the breaking ball.
High fly ball to deep left field. Back is Benintendi. Gone! Justin Smoak takes Sale deep. 3-1 Blue Jays. First time this year that Sale's given up 2 home runs in a game. Devin Travis in the second, Justin Smoak here in the third. Here's Yangervis Solarte, hit by a pitch on the inside of his knee, and that's why he was getting out of the way of that one.
This next pitch here, this off-speed pitch to Sale, or to Smoak from Sale, was a slider. And Smoak is so strong, either toward the end of the bat, but still got enough of it to knock it out of the ballpark. That's his first home run since that 2-homer game against the Yankees.
Well, for Sale, the last time he gave up multiple home runs in a game was his last regular season start of last year, when he gave up 4 home runs against the Blue Jays, September 26th at Fenway Park.
Donaldson hit 1, Hernandez hit 1, Kendrys Morales hit 1 off Sale.
Swing and a miss by Solarte, 2-1.
Donaldson hit 2 off Sale.
Sale gave up 9 of his 24 home runs in September last year in 5 starts. Solarte sends the ball to left center field, but Betts is there to make the catch for out number 2.
Sale knew it immediately. He didn't get it where he wanted to. Left it out over the plate, and Smoak was able to get to it. And he certainly is the guy they need to get going a little bit. Smokey came into this game batting .229. He's 2 for 2.
Here's Pilar, had a sac fly back in the first. And kind of like the Travis pitch, although the Travis pitch was a fastball, that was a slider by Sale to Smoak. He doesn't make many mistakes. And guys can hit good pitches out too, but both of the pitches that have been hit out have been up and out over the middle of the plate. Now Pilar takes a good swing at it, lines one hard down into the left field corner. Another ball up and out over the middle of the plate, and Kevin Pillar's got himself a double.
Yeah, Pilar's been aggressive chasing that high fastball. He had a sacrifice fly on a high fastball. His first time up drove in the first run of the ball game, and he went upstairs and hit that one too. His 8th double of the season, and his fastball stays up, and he's all over it. He's had fastball on his mind since this game started. Another good swing by Kevin Pillar.
Meeting on the mound for Chris Sale in the 3rd inning. The Blue Jays have scored 3 runs. They've hit 2 homers. They've got 4 hits. Sale's hit a batter, walked a batter. Now runner in scoring position with 2 down for Lourdes Gurriel Jr., who had a terrific at bat in the 1st inning and wound up getting robbed by JD Martinez, who ran one down on the track out in deep right center field. Check the swing, and it's ball 1.
Well, you mentioned J.D. Martinez. What a great catch he made on the warning track. But look how shallow he is. Well, now he's taking a couple of steps back. Somebody on the bench recognized he was pretty shallow because Gurriel drove that breaking ball all the way to the warning track.
That in on his hands, 1-1. He's listed at 6'2". Boy, he sure looks taller than that when you look at him out on the field or in the batter's box, especially when he's out at short or second.
Well, what do you think when you stand next to him? I think he's bigger than 6'2".
Well, I'm shrinking, so what I claim to be is not what I am right now. But he could be 6'3".
He looks 6'6" to me.
You got to get up on your tippy toes. Runner is going. Pilar was on the move, and that pitch fouled off. How about that?
Yeah, that was a tough pitch to swing at because obviously the batter can see the great break at second. And it was a borderline breaking ball, but Gurriel more focused on Sale than he was watching Pilar at second. Pilar had that one stolen all the way.
So 2 balls, 2 strikes on Gurriel. The Blue Jays up 3-1 here, bottom of the 3rd. Pulled down to 3rd. And Devers in time to get a Gurriel. That's all for the Blue Jays bottom 3, but they add to their lead and they do it with another home run. Their 2nd of the night, and this time it's Justin Smoak, his 3rd on the season, and 3-1 Jays at the end of 3.
He noticed anything differently defensively playing on turf, and when he filled in for Devin Travis at second base. Now, with the help of interpreter Josue Pele, Gurriel Jr. said the ball definitely bounces a lot higher on the turf. It's also, he noted, quicker off the dirt, although it does have a softer lower hop when it's in the dirt. He found fielding here, the speed of the game is much quicker, and it was Aledmus Diaz who pulled Gurriel Jr. aside and told him one of the adjustments he's had to make at shortstop this year is to stay down a little bit longer when fielding that baseball. So we'll keep an eye on that, Dan, as the game progresses.
All right, Hazel, thank you. If you ask Blue Jay folks what's his best position, as that ball is hit hard into right center field. That's a base hit for J.D. Martinez to open up the top of the fourth. The Jays don't have a real handle yet on where Gurriel could eventually wind up. Is he always kind of a super utility guy? Is it short? Is it second? If they needed to, they could put him in the outfield right now, they feel, especially on the corners. But he's a guy who's played a lot of different spots down on the minors.
Yeah, it's so hard to tell right now. It's so early in his career. But he looks like a ball player, and he looks to me like an everyday ball player. But obviously, we need to see him play for a while.
Mitch Moreland, the batter, and the Jays go into the shift. Moreland struck out back in the second. Let's see Solarte crossing over to the right side of the infield. Gurriel staying put on the left side. Well, this is one area where the Jays, and we've seen it more on the position player side than the pitching side early in the season, where the farm system is offering more than they had a year or two ago. They have some early injuries. They bring up Lourdes Gurriel. They bring up Teoscar Hernandez. Both guys contributing. And it'll happen on the pitching side. It's inevitable. Could be two. Travis, a little trouble getting it out of his glove, and that cost them any chance they may have had at a double play. It'll be a fielder's choice for Moreland.
Yeah, and that was a double play ball, and the little bobble just disrupted the timing to turn two. Travis got to it, but watch how he gets his body and shifts his right leg behind him, but at that time he bobbled it, and that eliminates any chance to double up Moreland. The little bobble right there couldn't find the handle cleanly. I mean, there's no doubt about Gurriel's arm. He's got a strong arm, whether he's playing second or short. He's got enough arm to play anywhere on the infield.
So 1 on, 1 out for Eduardo Nunez, who struck out in the second and is now 0 for 10 in his career against Marco Estrada. And a fastball right down the middle taken for a strike. Nunez, a guy, I mean, a bit of a different skill set, but at times in his major league career, he's been used kind of like we were just talking about Gurriel. Second, short. He's played some third. He's played in the outfield. Got some pop. Can steal some bases. He's bounced around a bit, but he's been a good player.
I think Gurriel has a better defensive set of skills than Nunez. Nunez has always been more of an offensive player, and he's always been known to be a guy that can hit. And they've never really identified a true position for him. And the numbers you've mentioned, Dan, against Marco Estrada, he's not had a whole lot of fun.
No balls, 2 strikes. Runner at first, 1 down. And Nunez lays off the high fastball. You like seeing your old number 13 out on the field in a Blue Jay uniform?
It looks much better on him than it did on me, that's for sure. I think folks can get used to that. Nunez had a big hit in the opener on Tuesday night. He had an RBI single in the 9th inning. And knocked in the second run, and then he was thrown out trying to score the go-ahead run on a terrific throw from Curtis Granderson.
Into left center field, and this ball is going to get down. Moreland coming around to third, and jogging into second is Nunez, who hit a pretty good pitch a long way to left center field. Look at the location of that changeup.
Yeah, it was a good pitch, and we mentioned what a good offensive player he is. That's his first career hit against Marco Estrada, and you can see it ends a long period of frustration. But watch the location of this pitch. It's a ball, but he stays on it and uses that bottom hand to get the bat through the zone and pokes it into center field. Pilar was shaded to the right side of second because of the base hit he had on Tuesday. Line drive up the power alley and right.
So second and third with one out, and the Blue Jays will keep the infield back. They're up 3-1 here in the fourth inning, and the batter was Rafael Devers, who struck out his first time up against Estrada. Devers 264, 3 homers, 17 driven in. Moreland, the runner at third, does not have good speed. The ball hit right at Solarte, and if Moreland were running, Solarte would have a play at the plate. Up the middle would score a run, though. And Estrada really preyed on the aggressiveness of Devers in the first at bat, but so far in this one, Devers hasn't chased. The 2-0. In for a strike.
Yeah, you can see Devers is frustrated. 2-0 pitch, a fastball, a strike, and he was just indecisive in what he wanted to swing at.
I would think a young hitter like this would almost rather face 98 than this. You know what's coming. It's a fastball. Dial it up. Swing as hard as you can. This is more like a chess match that he's got going with Estrada, who's a much more experienced chess player than Devers is.
No, I agree with you 100%. I think that even veteran hitters are more comfortable facing a guy who just tries to blow it by you.
High fly ball left center. Pilar giving chase and makes the catch. Terrific play on the track by Pilar. In to score Moreland, to third Nunez, sac fly Devers. It's a one-run game, but that could have been worse.
Devers drove it to the warning track, and Pilar, boy, he made a determined long run to get over into the power alley in left field, and just makes the catch short of the scoreboard in left.
Devers with an RBI and the sac fly to bring the Red Sox back within a run. 2 down and a man at third for the catcher Christian Vasquez, who was called out on strikes his first time up. A little coaching from Hanley Ramirez. A little tough love there, it looks like, from Hanley Ramirez.
But you can see at the end, he says, you know, you're still my guy. That's important. This is a much different Red Sox team we've seen the last several years. They got a lot of guys pulling for one another, a lot of guys hanging out together. We saw that with the Red Sox going to the hockey game.
19 of them, right?
Always something going on, always a conversation. Betts talking to his right fielder, J.D. Martinez.
Did you see where Ronald Acuna Jr. hit his first big league home run today?
You know what? He probably could have done it if they let him start opening day.
Yeah. They kept him down in the minors to secure an extra year of control. You have to be up a certain number of days, 172 in a regular season to get a full year, so a lot of teams will do this. High strike there. Vasquez not so sure. It's 2-2.
You know, so many of these young players come to the big leagues and never miss a beat because they've been exposed to international play, whether it's a all-star game or a showcase. They've had a lot of big opportunities.
Right in on his hands. Great location from Estrada, and a pop-up to take care of the Red Sox in the top of the fourth. They do get a run, though. Estrada a little bit frustrated, but the Blue Jays still have the lead.
who you think will get a hit. Get a hit, your streak continues. Get no hits, start a new streak. Be the first to reach 57 games and win $5.6 million. Play for free. Download the Beat the Streak app today.
Thank you, Hazel. We go to the bottom of the fourth here at Rogers Center. All three of these games, Buck, have been very close, competitive games. This one appears to be following suit. Blue Jays up 3-2 on Boston.
When you play good teams like the Yankees and the Red Sox, you can't afford to extend them extra outs. The Blue Jays had a double play ball last inning. They didn't get it turned. And Moreland, who hit that ball, should have been erased on a double play, comes around to score the second run. So this is a very good team, and they're going to take it opportunities, and they're going to make the most of them.
The Blue Jays against the Yankees and Red Sox this year are 4-6. Against everybody else, they're 10-3. And I think this year in the American League, you're going to see a lot of the good teams beating up on the bad teams. There's a broken bat, one hopper out to second. A play for Nunez, and Grichuk is retired, one down. But I think a lot of the good teams are just going to run a roughshod over the bad teams. If there are, say, 6 or 7 good teams in the league, it's how you do against the other good teams that's ultimately going to decide who gets into the postseason.
Yeah, generally in the American League East, there's a lot of balance in the division, and although Tampa Bay has won 5 in a row, they don't appear to be in the same class as those top 3 teams. Baltimore's off to a terrible start at 6-18. But you're right, when you look at most of the divisions outside of the American League West, everybody's kind of a couple good teams, and the rest of them aren't very good. The American League West with Houston, LA, Seattle, and Oakland all playing over 500.
Oakland playing well. Here's Luke Maile, who was called out on strikes in his first at bat tonight. That was back in the second. The Blue Jays, after they conclude this game tonight, we mentioned they are home to Texas. Then they go to Minnesota. And again, that's a big series. Who knows what will happen in the next 5 months? But John Gibbons might be looking at the Twins, might be looking at the Angels. Yeah, Red Sox and Yankees are competition, but with 2 wild cards, you can get in theoretically, even if you finish third in your division. But that means you got to beat out the second place team in both of the other divisions. So you got to do well against the likes of the Twins, Angels, Mariners, whoever else you want to put onto that list.
And the Twins lost today to New York, and they have now lost 7 straight.
Upstairs, 2-2 to Maile.
The Twins are now 8-12. Of course, they got a bad piece of news early in the season when Polanco, their shortstop, was suspended for 80 games. Then they lost Santana to an injury, their starting pitcher. But everybody's dealing with injuries.
Blue Jays, of course, with Josh Donaldson out. Troy Tulowitzki has been out all season. And Maile strikes out for the second time tonight.
The 2018 Civic. When it leads off, it leads for good. Honda, proud fan since 1977 and the official vehicle of the Toronto Blue Jays.
Glad you're with us tonight for this game between the Blue Jays and the Red Sox with Buck Martinez, Hazel May. I'm Dan Schulman. It's 3-2 Blue Jays. And the guy at the plate right now responsible for one of those Blue Jay runs. First home run of the season for Devin Travis. Ripped a fastball from Chris Sale into the second deck in left field.
Well, the Blue Jays' magic number in wins is 4 runs. They've got to score 4 runs, and they have 3 right now, but when they score 4 runs, they haven't lost a game this season. They're 13-0 when they've scored 4 or more runs, just 1-9 when they score less than 4.
And the offense has cooled off over the last 6 games. Now, is that the offense cooling off, or is that the fact that they face some better teams in the Yankees and Red Sox? Probably a combination of the two. Upstairs.
Yeah, I think, you know, obviously the quality of the pitching has improved dramatically when you face the Yankees and the Red Sox. And I know everybody's a major league team, but Kansas City, Chicago, they didn't have great pitching. Baltimore didn't have great pitching.
Well, the good news is after tonight, the Blue Jays will have played 11 games against the Yankees and Red Sox already in the first, 24 games of the season. They play each team 19 times, as every team does against every other team within its own division. But that's kind of front loading the difficulty of your schedule to a certain extent. And a bouncer to the right side, charged by Nunez, and the Blue Jays will go in order. Time now for a Blue Jays Central update. Here are Jamie Campbell and Kevin Barker in the Samsung broadcast studio.
Zone are guests from one of TD's community partners. And a reminder, watch the 2018 NHL Draft Lottery this week on Hockey Central Saturday, sponsored by Molson Canadian, proud partner of the National Hockey League.
Thank you, Hazel. We go top 5 in a 3-2 game. The Blue Jays up a run on the Red Sox. First at bat of the night for Tsu-Wei Lin. Shows bunt and takes a high strike. Then came on as a pinch runner for Brock Holt after Holt suffered what has been called left hamstring tightness. Holt lifted from the game. Lin stays in the game at short. 24 years of age from Taiwan. And the 0-1 is there for called strike 2. He was up with Boston a little bit last year. 56 at bats with the Red Sox last year, hitting .268.
He was called up when Xander Bogaerts hurt himself and filled in at shortstop for a while. He and Brock Holt have split the time at short since Bogaerts has been out.
He's in the number 9 spot, top of the order. Mookie Betts and Andrew Benintendi after Lin. Estrada about to throw his 75th pitch of the night as he works here in the 5th inning. Changeup misses high. The Blue Jays will have Marcus Stroman on the mound tomorrow night to open up the series against Texas. Mike Minor, a left-hander for the Rangers, who are riddled with injuries right now, especially on the position player side. Here's a pop-up, draws a crowd. Estrada wanted it, and then Smoke will call him off. One down, that'll bring up Mookie Betts, who last night, Buck, was all sorts of trouble for the Blue Jays.
Well, it sure was. In his first at bat of the ball game, he got a 2-0 fastball from Aaron Sanchez and hammered it over the wall and left. And then in the 7th, he goes opposite field, only his 4th career home run to right field. But he was just trying to hit something hard, and he hit it hard over the wall and right, a 2-run home run. Mookie Betts drove in 3 of the 4 Red Sox runs in the game last night.
Estrada's on the corner again, and it's 0-1. Betts tonight is 0 for 2. Soft liner in foul territory back in the 1st, and a fly ball to center in the 3rd. Getting back to that Texas series for a moment on Saturday afternoon. Don't forget it's a 4 o'clock start here at Rogers Center And the Blue Jays will see Bartolo Colon in that game. 44 years of age, I believe. 2 is up and into bets. Took a perfect game into the 8th inning a couple of starts ago. Started off in the bullpen. He's moved into the rotation with some injuries. Jaime Garcia, pictured there in the middle of your screen. He will oppose Colon on Saturday. Then Martin Perez and Jay Happ on Sunday. Betts with a high drive to deep center. Pilar feeling for the wall, has room just shy of it. 2 down.
Well, they've been able to keep Mookie Betts in a big part of the field tonight. He's flied out twice to center field, knocked out to the first baseman his first time up.
Just a long, loud out for out number 2, and here's Benintendi, who broke an 0 for 16 spell with an RBI double his last time up. It's a curveball, fouls it off.
Checking with the umpires, see if that was a strike. He's been chasing a lot of high pitches out of the zone up. Luke Manley's done a nice job of mixing in the curveball and the cutter in this game tonight. Boston 2 runs on 5 hits. And with credit Manley, obviously he's the guy that puts together the game plan. He wants his fastball upstairs.
Just a little bit too high for Benintendi to chase. I'll tell you, at times tonight, Estrada's command and location have been spot on. You could see Maile on that last pitch, wanted that cutter right inside on the hands of Benintendi, and that's exactly where it was.
In the second inning, he struck out the side. Moreland, Nunez, and Devers on just 14 pitches. Benintendi fighting himself to not go after that high heater.
He's seen everything that Estrada has, with the exception of a changeup in this at bat. And a fastball lined into right field, a base hit. A 2-out single puts the potential tying run aboard.
Super Slow-Mo Cam. Brought to you by Samsung Galaxy S9 and S9 Plus. The camera reimagined. Available now.
So the Red Sox with a man on, 2 down here in the 5th inning. The Blue Jays up 3-2 on Boston. The batter is Hanley Ramirez, DHing tonight. He's had a base hit and a walk.
Keep your eye on Benintendi at first. He had 2 stolen bases last night. He's 5 for 5 on the season. Margaret did a good job of holding the ball a little bit longer, trying to ice Benintendi over at first. Maile looking into DeMarlo Hale to get the running game signs. They're going to throw over to first now.
Remember, Benintendi got picked off out at second back in the 3rd inning here tonight.
And he didn't score on a sac fly last night from 3rd. He got picked off for the 3rd out of the inning, and then J.D. Martinez got a single to start the next inning.
A strike over the outside edge, 1-1. Estrada would love to get as deep into this game as possible, but again, the Red Sox, even when you're doing well against them, they'll make you work. And here comes pitch number 89 for Marco, with 2 down in the 5th inning in what's been a pretty effective outing.
Well, he beat Ramirez with that fastball upstairs. He was late on. But Ramirez is such an experienced hitter. Sometimes you'll see hitters set up a pitcher They act like, oh, I couldn't get to that, and coax him into another fastball. That's a bigger lead over at first now.
1 ball, 2 strikes the count. Runner not going. And out of play again.
Another fastball, and Marco got it in a good spot. I think it's very difficult to retire RBI guys like Henry Ramirez with an off-speed pitch with 2 strikes in the strike zone. I think you have to have a strike-to-ball breaking ball because they all kind of shorten up in tough situations.
So the curveball would be in your mind here as a catcher?
I would throw it, I think, just to give him a different look, because that's a strike-to-ball breaking ball. That's the best one that Estrada has. But at the same time, I think you're in a tough spot. It's 1 and 2. You've got a chance to throw him that curveball right now.
Haley wants the changeup away. Right center field, not hit hard, going to drop for a base hit. And racing around to third is Benintendi. A pretty good pitch from Estrada down low, but Ramirez fights it off. He's having a good night. And the Red Sox have runners on the corners.
Yeah, Nunez hit a good pitch for his base hit back in the 4th. And Ramirez, we talked about him. He's a batting champ. He can hit. And this is a good pitch. You can see he's on the front foot, just dumps it into right field in front of Randall Grichuk. Benintendi's had good speed, and he reads it very well. With 2 outs, of course, he's got the green light. He ends up at third.
That's the 7th hit of the night for the Red Sox off Estrada. Blue Jays still up 3-2. Boston threatening with 2 down here in the 5th inning, and the batter is J.D. Martinez.
Devin Travis has taken a couple of steps to his left. Martinez has hit a couple of balls sharply in this series to his left.
Now he hits a fly ball, well struck, right field. Grichuk back, turns, and it's gone. Into the visiting bullpen, an opposite field 3-run homer. And J.D. Martinez has put the Red Sox on top.
J.D. Martinez has terrific power to the opposite field. And he stayed on that pitch and drives it out from the ballpark. 3-run home run.
And this inning began, Buck, with 2 outs, nobody on. Benintendi a base hit, Ramirez a good at bat for a bloop single, and then Martinez making no mistake.
Well, you see that ball too was kind of middle up. Yeah, J.D. had been pitched up a lot in this series, and that time he got up there and got it.
And now the bullpen's getting up. Left-hander Aaron Loop starting to throw for the Blue Jays. Estrada down 5-3 at 93 pitches. And it's a ball and a strike on Mitch Moreland, the first baseman. So Chris Sale's given up 2 homers tonight. He's given up 3 runs. But for the first time right now, he's got the lead. It's a foul ball. I think it came down, hit Moreland's foot, and then rolled out into the infield. 2 balls, 2 strikes. The guy's got power. Hit 45 a year ago. And this is what the Red Sox were looking for. Somebody to hit a lot of home runs in the middle of their lineup. They were last in the American League in homers a year ago.
See, that ball was up, kind of middle out over the plate, and he's got enough power to go opposite field.
The 2-2 to Moreland. And off the end of the bat, down the left field line, and it'll be caught in fair territory by Teoscar Hernandez. to take care of the Red Sox in the top of the 5th. But they've got the lead for the first time tonight. Already here tonight. Been a much different story. Look at those numbers here at Rogers Center from 2017.
Yeah, it's hard to fathom. He walked 2 in 3 starts. And you can see he pitched an average of 7 innings in each of those starts. Had 35 strikeouts and didn't give up an earned run. The Blue Jays got to him, but it was after the fact at the end of the season. In his final start of the season, he surrendered 4 home runs to them, but that was at Finland.
So the Blue Jays find themselves trailing for the first time tonight. Top of the order coming up, bottom 5. Pierce, Hernandez, and Smoke. Pierce is 0 for 2 tonight. Hitting .302 on the season, the on-base percentage of .362. And a little bit better than that against lefties.
Done a nice job hitting leadoff for John Gibbons.
And for the meantime, it looks like he and Granderson will be the leadoff hitters. Somewhat in a platoon, not a strict platoon, but for the most part they are. And both of them finding themselves at the top of the order for the most part. Chased away, and it's 2-2. John Gibbons having to move the pieces around a little bit more this year. Granderson in and out, Pierce in and out. Now Gurriel up. Travis 2 out of 3. Martin 2 out of 3.
Well, they don't have a couple of their stars, Troy Tulowitzki and Josh Donaldson. So when you have those guys, they play every day. So now you don't have those stars, and you have to be creative as to how you're going to make out your lineup and cover the defensive positions. And I think Gibbons has done a great job of getting everybody involved.
If you look at real everyday guys right now, Smoke's one, Pilar's one, and the next guy would be Solarte right now because he's been the third baseman with Donaldson out. That's about it. Everybody else kind of moving in and out of the lineup. Pretty good at bat here.
Yeah, he's had good at bats. We mentioned how well he has done hitting in the leadoff spot. Coming into this game as the leadoff hitter, he's at over .350. On base percentage of .405 at the start of play, batting first in the order.
And another foul off.
Quite a battle. Both these guys are from Lakeland, Florida. And a little pride on the line. Batting against one of the toughest lefties in all of baseball. Pierce has popped out twice.
Another foul back. Vasquez back for a look, but this is well back into the seats. Cora, first-year manager of the Boston Red Sox. He's on the coaching staff of the World Series champion Houston Astros a year ago. Tenth pitch of the at-bat. And off the end of the bat, a pop-up into shallow left field, and Lynn, the shortstop, is back one down.
The Lawn and Garden event is on now until May 15th, only at Home Hardware and Building Center locations. Here's how.
Marco Estrada looking on from the dugout. Bullpen is up. A 3-run top of the 5th at his expense. An opposite field home run by J.D. Martinez has given the Red Sox their first lead of the night. The batter now is Teoscar Hernandez, who has walked and scored and also struck out. Hernandez is 25. He broke into the big leagues in 2016 with Houston, got 100 at bats, and in those 100 at bats hit .230, slugged .420. He has been better as a Blue Jay than he was as an Astro, and the concern with him has been, you know, when he hits it hard, but he can be streaky. He can strike out a lot. But he's done nothing but do damage for the Blue Jays last September, spring training, and so far here in April.
Yeah, I think the difference in what we have seen since he's joined the Blue Jays is he's got better discipline at the plate. Jacoby's always trying to encourage him to have that discipline. Get a strike, it's much better to try to hit strikes than it is to chase. This too, with 2 strikes, he's done a nice job of shortening up his approach. Not trying to hit everything so hard, but becoming a much more defensive hitter with 2 strikes. That's been an ongoing conversation lately as Brooks Jacoby's trying to help Randall Grichuk get back on track.
During Grichuk's BP round today, every time that he came out of the box, he went right around the cage and stood beside Brooks Jacoby, and they talked constantly until the other 3 players in his group hit, and it was time for him to get back in there again.
Yeah, it's all about gaining the trust of your players. Grichuk didn't get a chance to play an awful lot in spring training. He had an oblique injury, he had a wrist injury, and he had inconsistent at-bats. One thing we have seen consistently from he's working at it. Trying to figure out how to get turned around.
Like Pierce, Hernandez putting up a long at bat here against Sale. So 10 pitches for Pierce before he popped up, and this is now 7 for Hernandez. And it might not pay off this inning, but it just might get that Sale out of there an inning or 2 or even a batter or 2 earlier later on in the game.
The Red Sox are down a reliever in their bullpen. Joe Kelly has accepted his 6-game suspension, and you can't replace a player that's been suspended.
Wow, that's a pretty good take right there.
Yeah, that's been a dramatic improvement in Hernandez's approach at the plate.
Justin Smoke, who's homered tonight, waits on deck. Fouled off again. That pitch way outside, but with 2 strikes on him, Hernandez going after it just to stay alive. Alex Cora's like, man, my guy's got pretty good stuff. How come strike 3 so tough this inning?
Well, he got to see Hernandez with the Astros and was impressed with him. Thought he was going to be a good player given an opportunity. But he didn't see this kind of approach from Hernandez. He said he's supposed to strike out by now.
And Sale taking his time, backing off the rubber, and now ready to go back to work against Hernandez. Blue Jays down 5-3, bottom of the 5th. inside for ball 4. What a job. 10 pitches and a walk for Teoscar Hernandez. The second walk he's drawn tonight.
Well, last time up in the 3rd inning, Justin Smoke batting against Chris Sale gets a breaking ball and hits it high and deep over the wall in left. That's his first home run since the opening series against the Yankees. He had a 2-homer game against New York, including the grand slam he hit off David Robertson. That's the last time he had homered until tonight.
Got a fastball that got a lot of the plate, but he fouled it off. I wonder how often in Chris Sale's major league career he's had to throw 10 pitches to consecutive batters. That doesn't happen to him.
No, and you know what? It has an impact. Pitchers are like boxers. When they have extended innings, they have a tendency to get arm weary. And then you make a mistake to a good hitter like Justin Smoke. Ideally, you'd like your starting pitcher to throw about 15 pitches an inning. And he threw 20 pitches to 2 hitters.
And it's only the 5th. There's a long way to go. He's at 87 pitches. This one's far from over.
Sandy Leon, the other catcher the Red Sox have, and they're wondering what's going on. These guys are having tough at bats against Sale. Another pitch foul back. I think the first thing you think about when you see some at bats like this is Sale tipping his pitches? I mean, they're not knocking it out of the ballpark.
You think that may be what Cora was asking Leon about?
It could be. As a player, Alex Cora was very good at that himself. And it's all part of the game. But maybe they picked something up because they laid off some tough pitches.
You know, this again, they may not score any runs this inning, but I think the folks watching, whether they're here or at home, this is big what's happening right here. They're wearing him out here in the 5th inning. He's thrown 24 pitches and he's gotten 1 out here in the 5th inning.
Well, you got to cash in on it.
Got him with a changeup for out number 2.
Well, he threw that changeup in a good spot, and it was 84 miles an hour. Some of the changeups he'd thrown earlier, 87, 88, but he really backed off this changeup and gets it in a good spot. A little bit of a sink down and away from Smoke, and he's way out in front.
So now with 2 down and Hernandez at first, the batter was Yangervis Solarte. Hit by a pitch in the 1st inning and hit a fly ball to center in the 3rd.
He's going to be hard charging on this first pitch.
Runner is going, and it's fouled off by Solarte.
Here on the first pitch changeup.
On the Blue Jay third baseman. Switch hitter batting for the right side against the left-hander Sale. Hernandez not going, and Solarte pops it up into right field. Here comes Martinez over near the foul line to make the grab, and that's all for the Blue Jays. They make Sale work, but they can't cash in. End of 5, and the Red Sox still lead 5-3. 8 batters that he faced tonight, but as things got deeper into the game, the Red Sox started turning that around.
Yeah, they sure did, but he got a bad break in the 4th inning when they scored their second run of the ball game on a double play ball. They didn't turn 2. A little hesitation, and Moreland, who hit that ball, would eventually come around to score. So Aaron Loup, who hasn't pitched since Saturday in New York, will make his 9th appearance of the season. He's been roughed up a little bit early on, looking to turn things around himself. Opponent's hitting .400 against Loup.
Eduardo Nunez will be the first batter that Loup faces here in the 6th inning. Nunez 1 for 2 tonight, and he takes a strike at the knees, 0-1. Loup started off the season well, and his last outing actually against the Yankees was good, but in between the 4 prior outings, 2 1/3, 9 hits, 4 runs. And again, that low strike has been called pretty consistently by Ramon De Jesus tonight, both ways.
Yeah, for both teams, and that's what you want. Just be consistent. And I like it. It's a quality pitch, and the pitchers are being rewarded.
A little bit inside as Nunez loses the batting helmet.
Yeah, it was a pretty good pitch. Luke took a shot at that inside corner. Looked like he might have made a good pitch.
San Juan O is now starting to throw in the bullpen.
It's that changeup that Nunez just rolled foul at third baseline. Looks like Maley's politicking for that fastball that was on the inside corner. Maybe thinking about calling it again, just making the umpire, Ramon De Jesus, aware that he thought that was a pretty good pitch.
And that was exactly the pitch that Maley did call, though Loup left that one out over the plate. You could see Maley had slid inside.
Constant conversation throughout the course of a game between a catcher and an umpire. You can praise him, hey man, you're doing a good job back here. You can get their attention, say, hey, I thought that was a good pitch.
Lazy fly ball into right field for Randall Grichuk, 1 down.
Canada's favorite car cheers for Canada's favorite team. Honda, proud fan since 1977, and the official vehicle of the Toronto Blue Jays.
6th inning at Rogers Center. Dan Shulman to Buck Martinez. Hazel May, Red Sox 5 and the Blue Jays 3. Lefty-lefty matchup. Rafael Devers against Aaron Loup.
This is where Loup has really had his problems. Lefties are 6 for 11 so far against Loup. And that will help if he can get that breaking ball over consistently.
One ball, 1 strike the count. Went back to it, but it sweeps outside, ball 2. Chris Sale had to work hard in the 5th inning. You know, maybe a power bar or something in the dugout to keep you going.
Yeah, he had an extended inning for sure. Good fastball from Loup. Another low quality pitch. That low strike, very effective all night long.
And a swing and a miss at another low fastball, 2 down.
Loup's throwing the fastball very well. Remember, he hadn't pitched since Saturday in New York, so he's fresh. And he's throwing some quality pitches to the first 2 batters, and good pitch, good location, and he does a good job of striking out Devers. It's tailing action on that fastball.
And that'll bring up Christian Vasquez with 2 down and the bases empty here in the top of the 6th. We mentioned the Yankees won earlier today. They had a day game. Gary Sanchez walked it off against the Twins as the Yankees won their 6th in a row, beat Minnesota 4-3. Another divisional game. Tampa Bay is leading Baltimore 8-4 right now. The game is in the 6th inning. The 0-1 is slashed towards right field, but Pritchard is there. And Loop has himself a 1-2-3 inning here in the top of the 6th.
Honda Super Camps across the country. Learn techniques from former Blue Jays, including Hall of Famer Roberto Alomar, Lloyd Mosby, Jesse Barfield, and Dwayne Ward. Register now at bluejays.com/camps. Dan.
Thank you, Hazel. Bottom of the 6th inning. And here come the Blue Jays against Chris Sale. This is likely his last inning of work, you would think. He's at 92 pitches right now. Had to throw 27 in the 5th inning. He's got the lead. But the bullpen's up behind him as he goes to work here, bottom 6, against the number 5 hitter in the Blue Jay lineup tonight, Kevin Pillar. Had a sac fly in the 1st and has doubled in the 3rd. So officially 1-for-1.
Sale was starting after he saw one sign, and Vasquez hadn't finished the sequence. That's a strike, but because Vasquez was sitting inside, reached back over outside, the umpire didn't get a good look at it.
That ball's going foul up the first base line. And it's a ball and a strike on Pillar.
Kevin's had 2 real good at bats against Sale. He had a sac fly. Actually swung at 3 balls, all high fastballs, but the 3rd one was the highest of the 3, and he hit it deep enough to right to pick up the sacrifice fly, and then he jumped on a high fastball in the 3rd and hit it double down the left field corner.
Henrys Morales getting loose. Well, he's done a good job with that changeup on the outside corner.
And it's such a difference in speed, even with the changeup. One will be 82, the next one will be 88. That last one was 87. It's like a batting practice fastball.
Missed badly with that slider. Wanted the ball inside and missed outside. There's Carson Smith now starting to throw in the Boston pen. In the air to right field for the first out.
Sale kept everything down and away from Pillar in that at bat. We mentioned that first 2 at bats, Pillar hit a couple of high fastballs, one for a sac fly, one for a double. Everything this at bat down and away. Christian Vasquez setting up down and away, and look at all the pitches. We're down in the same spot. So they weren't going to throw him another high fastball in that at bat.
Here's Lourdes Gurriel, 0 for 2. A fly ball to deep right and a ground ball to third. Gurriel getting the start at shortstop tonight. He's made 2 starts at second, 2 starts at short. Mordecai, the quality control coach for the Blue Jays, on the left, talking to Justin Smoke. Mordecai's kind of got jurisdiction everywhere. He's got a little piece of every part of the game, and you'll find him talking to just about every player on the team.
He's an excellent coach. This is his first season. He's been in the organization for a while. But he can do a lot of things to help out. He'll help Brooke Jacoby. They'll look at the scouting reports. He'll help the defense. Former infielder, can bring a lot to the table.
100 pitches even for Sale with 1 out of the bottom of the 6th. And a check swing foul off by Gurriel. I don't know that we've seen, and again, we haven't seen a whole lot of them, but every at bat, even if he strikes out or makes it out, it's competitive. He's fouling off a good pitch. He's extending an at bat. He's making them work. I don't think we've seen him overmatched yet at all.
No. Even that swing there in a tough spot. You know, he's got quick hands, and the bat flies through that hitting zone. We haven't seen him really fooled on any pitch. He stays pretty compact. Got a nice approach.
Again, the 1-2. Pulls that changeup to the left side. That's been a really good pitch for Sale tonight. And Gurriel now 0 for 3.
Yeah, we mentioned at the top of the show, and it looks like there's going to be a pitching change as Sale has thrown 103 pitches. He's able to get Gurriel. Grichuk is the next batter. Cora, I got this. That's what Sale said. I got this. I love that. I love that. Cora's probably going to listen to it too. I got this, Skip. That's what we talk about. When he gets on that mound, he turns into a different guy. He's a winner. This is his game. Let me finish this right now. I got this. Okay, it's all yours, big guy. I love it.
Probably for just one more batter, but he did buy himself that. Randall Grichuk coming up with 2 down to the bases empty. Blue Jays led early in this game. We're up 2-0, up 3-1 with the Red Sox with a big 3-run top of the 5th to take a 5-3 lead. Same score now as the Jays bat in the bottom of the 6th. And 1 pitch and a pop-up. So it looks like Sale was convincing for good reason with Alex Cora. Grichuk retired. Cora likes it, and the Red Sox have their lead at the end of 6. of work and really finished strong in that 6th inning, and he convinced his manager to leave him in the game. I got this. I want this guy. Wanted to get that last out of the 6th inning, and he did.
Yeah, and the conversation got a little more intense when he put his glove over his mouth, but when he gets to the dugout, he gets a nice welcome by the manager. He said, "Hey, man, I got it. Don't worry about it. I won't let you down." Boy, you love that from your ace guy that goes out there every single day. Now he's talking with the pitching coach, Daniel Levangie, and Porcello's listening in. Tell you what, this is a very good pitching staff. They have 3 aces, if you will. Price, Porcello, and Sale. And a young ace in the making in Rodriguez. He looked really good last night.
What appeared to be maybe an area of uncertainty coming into the season based on how Porcello had pitched last year and some early concern about David Price. So far, the questions have been answered in a positive sense for the Red Sox in that rotation. They love Rodriguez's arm. Price has been good more often than not so far this year. Porcello's been really good so far this year.
They had another question mark, too, was the new pitching coach. Daniel Levangie was the former bullpen coach, had been a bullpen catcher, had been a scout, but he has gotten rave reviews from the pitchers, from the general manager, from the manager. He's done a terrific job early in the season.
It's a ground ball to the left side, scooped up by Solarte, and Lynn is retired for the first out.
But Levangie knew the pitchers, obviously, that had been here in the past, as he worked with them down in the bullpen and worked with them during their side sessions. So they have his trust. They know that they can trust him in what he's offering. And that's a terrific relationship. And for a first-year pitching coach, they have really gotten off to a great start.
One down, and Mookie Betts is up. He's 0 for 3. Aaron Loop in his 2nd inning of work out of the Blue Jays pen. And Loop's retired all 4 batters he's faced so far. After Betts, a left-handed batter in Benintendi, which is probably why John Gibbons still has Loop out there, giving him a chance to work through 2 innings. John Axford will come off the bereavement list for the Blue Jays tomorrow. He'll be active for the first game of the Texas series, but the second lefty, Tim Mays, is still on the roster tonight for the Jays. I think Marcus Stroman's probably been counting the minutes until he can get back out there and start again after the last start at Yankee Stadium, where at time, kind of like Estrada tonight, very early, Marcus was really good. Then he fell behind Judge 3-0, gave up a home run on that pitch, and it got away from him in the 5th inning, I believe it was. And probably as rough an inning as the team has had this year, as Betts is retired for the 2nd out.
This 4K broadcast is brought to you by the Samsung QLED TV. See nothing else.
5 in a row now retired by Loop. Here with Rogers Center, the Jays, though, down 5-3 as Boston bats top 7. Andrew Benintendi breaking out tonight, 2 for 3 with a single and a double. Loop's controlling the bottom end of the strike zones in this appearance tonight. He's been good.
Well, he's thrown enough strikes that he'll get swings like that on pitches off the plate. It's the first time Aaron has gone more than an inning this season. And it's an asset. Anytime you can get a reliever quickly through 1 inning and ask him to go back out there, you don't have to go any deeper into your bullpen for the time being.
0-2. And the breaking ball, a beauty. No argument from Benintendi. 2 perfect innings for Loop. 7th inning stretch in Toronto. long 5th inning, but then really settled down, talked his way into getting the last batter in the 6th inning. Yeah, the Blue Jays hit a couple of home runs off him, but he leaves with the lead.
Yeah, and I really applaud Alex Cora for listening to Sale. As a first-year manager, you see 100 pitches, you say, hey, man, you've thrown 100 pitches, and you could really be conservative, but he let Sale finish, and I'm sure Sale will reward him for that later on down the road. Carson Smith makes his 10th appearance of the season, and he's battled injuries the last couple of seasons. He is back. He's a hard thrower, and he is in here to start the 7th inning. I mentioned Joe Kelly is not available as he's starting to serve his 6-game suspension, and Kelly has been terrific in this series. A total of 3 innings, 1 hit, a couple of strikeouts. Hasn't walked a batter, but he's not available for the next 6 games.
Tyler Austin of the Yankees had his suspension reduced by 1 from 5 to 4. Carson Smith missed most of last year after recovering from Tommy John surgery. He's been a member of the Red Sox for 2 years and really hasn't pitched much for them at all after coming over in a trade with the Seattle Mariners back in 2015. Luke Maile, Devin Travis, and Steve Pearce scheduled for the Blue Jays here in the 7th. And Maile looks at a first pitch strike. Five runs, 8 hits, no errors for the Red Sox. 3 runs, 4 hits, no errors for the Blue Jays. The 3-run homer by J.D. Martinez with 2 down in the 5th is by far the biggest moment of the game thus far. And a slider grounded out. Big 2-hopper to short. And an easy play by Lynn to get Maile 1 down. Drive of the game brought to you by the powerful 2018 Civic Type R.
With 2 outs in the 2nd inning, the Blue Jays already up by a run. Devin Travis steps to the plate, faces Chris Sale, and hammers a fastball over the wall deep into the seats in left field. His first home run of the season, and his first home run since May 31st last year against the Cincinnati Reds right here at Rogers Center. Travis hit that home run off Willie Peralta, but after that he didn't play after June 4th last year, and he's gotten off to a tough start this year, but that's got to make him feel much better. He hammered that fastball.
Grounded out in his 2nd at bat tonight. And Brian Johnson, the left-hander, the lone lefty in that Red Sox pen, is up right now. Pinch hitter out in the on-deck circle, Kendrys Morales in Steve Pearce's spot. Morales, of course, a switch hitter, so even if Alex Cora were to make a move, Blue Jays would be comfortable with Morales there. Curtis Granderson probably being held back for a little bit later on, maybe in a Grichuk spot. Between the sweeping movement on that slider and all the herky-jerky motion that Smith has, he's a lot to look at out there on the mound. There's a lot going on.
He was very effective prior to his Tommy John surgery, a hard thrower. I don't know that he's gotten his fastball velocity back just yet.
That ball smoked into left center field. It's going to get all the way to the fence, and Devin Travis is rounding 2nd, heading for 3rd, and he's in there without a throw. How about that? A homer and a triple in the same game.
That's the way we saw Devin swing the bat last May. He really jumps on this pitch as well. Fastball low right at the bottom of the zone. He drills it into center field, and it splits the outfielders and goes all the way to the wall. The Red Sox made a bad relay throw. It's offline. Devin Travis keeps his eye on that throw, but they didn't have a chance to make a throw to third base as he picks up his first home run and now his first triple of the season.
And with one out, very important for him, of course, to get to third. Now he can score on a fly ball or maybe even a ground ball into the shift out in shallow right for Morales, the pinch hitter, who, like always, it seems, especially with a man on base, sees a breaking ball on the first pitch and he takes it for a strike. Now the Blue Jays desperately need to cash in this run here. Runner at third, one out. And with the way the defense is set up for the Red Sox, there are RBI opportunities out there right now for Morales, even without the benefit of a base hit.
Alex Cora is looking at the Blue Jays lineup to see where they might make their next move. One thing the Blue Jays have really excelled at this year is pinch hitting. 7 for 15 so far this season. Curtis Granderson is 3 for 5. Pierce is 2 for 4. Morales is 0 for 3, looking for his first hit.
Throw down to third, and Travis just back in ahead of it.
Boy, that was a lot closer than you wanted to see it. Vasquez will throw to any base any time. Watch the third baseman. This is a design play. He was leaning toward third, but Travis alertly gets back and goes to the outside part of the base.
1 ball, 2 strikes on Morales. He's trying to get something in the air to the outfield at the very least and bring Travis home. Change now in the Red Sox pen after Morales came up. Once the Granderson situation didn't come to pass, Johnson sat down, and now the right-hander Matt Barnes is up. It's Alex Cora talking to the catcher Christian Vasquez, urging him on. Granderson still on the bench and available later on for the Blue Jays. Runner is coming home, and that'll do it. That'll get a run home, bring the Blue Jays within 1.
Good job by Morales, put bat on the ball. The Red Sox were conceding a run because of where they were in the Blue Jays lineup. Morales was batting in the #1 spot for the leadoff man Steve Pearson. You don't want to play the infield in to allow him to sneak one through and then get a couple of guys on in a situation where they could really have a big inning. Top of the order, you played conservatively. Now it's a 1-run game.
So 2 down and the bases empty here in the 7th inning. The Blue Jays back with a run at 5-4. Teoscar Hernandez has walked twice and struck out once tonight. That's a fair ball. Inside out swing. Laces it down the right field line, and Hernandez is at second base.
Teoscar's been on base 3 times tonight. 2 walks and now a double with 2 outs. And Cora wants to buy some time for the pitcher Matt Barnes down in the pen. This is a pretty swing. Stays inside the ball, and he's able to keep it fair past the first baseman down the right field line. He's had good at-bats all night long. Worked a couple of walks, and now he comes up with a big double with 2 outs.
And Alex Cora is going to make a pitching change. That'll be all for Smith. Barnes will come in. The Blue Jays have the tying run at second base. one-run game here in the 7th.
Matt Barnes, a former #1 pick of the Red Sox back in 2011 out of the University of Connecticut. He's got a fastball and a curveball. His fastball will top out at 96 miles an hour. It's his 7th season in the organization. This will be his 9th appearance of the season, and you can see he's tough to hit. Opponents hitting just 120 against Matt Barnes.
Barnes and Joe Kelly, who, as Buck mentioned, began serving his suspension tonight. They're the key setup guys in front of Craig Kimbrell. So there's Teoscar Hernandez out at second base, representing the potential tying run. 2 down in the inning. And the batter's Justin Smoke, who's had a good night, 2 for 3, including a home run.
Barnes last pitched Friday in Oakland. Worked an inning in the 3rd, had 2 strikeouts, but threw just 21 pitches.
First at bat from the left side tonight for Smoke. And the shift on for the Red Sox. Fastball with a little tail on it, running away from Smoke. It's a strike, 0-1. With a runner at second, Evers, the third baseman, has to stay somewhat close to third, so a huge gap where the shortstop would normally play in a traditional alignment. Well, he does a nice job of that, doesn't he?
Yeah, he sure does. And like I said before, he's perfectly built for a catcher. Probably about 5'9", 5'10", and he's low to the ground, and he can move around very quickly. Very athletic behind the plate.
The way the Red Sox have it aligned, and you can see it, basically a routine ground ball to where the shortstop would normally be in a traditional alignment. That'll get Hernandez home. That'll skip into left center. We've said it before, but we should say it again. That's been a strike all night long both ways.
Sure has. The difference between that pitch and other pitches, that was meant to be up. Vasquez was holding the target up in the zone, and he missed down, but home plate umpire has been consistent calling that a strike.
Up high, 2-2. Hernandez the lead out at second. A look back by Barnes. And the 2-2 pitch. Swing and a miss at a breaking ball. Smoke strikes out. And that's it in the bottom of the 7th. Jays get a run though. And it's now a 1-run game. Baseball partnership and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of Rogers Blue Jays Baseball Partnership. 3 close games here this week between division rivals, the Blue Jays and the Red Sox. Jays winning the opener by a run. Red Sox winning last night by a run. And now the Red Sox leading by a run in the 8th inning here of the rubber match as Sun Hwan Oh comes on for the Jays.
12th game of the season for O. The numbers are kind of interesting. You look at his ERA, just 193, but the opponent's hitting over 300 against him, and his whip is high, 1.61, allowing a lot of base runners to reach.
Hanley Ramirez leads it off and looks at a fastball for a strike. Ramirez tonight 2 hits and a walk. He's raised his average up to 333. He's out to a great start this year. He'll be followed by J.D. Martinez and then Mitch Moreland. Slider fouled back, 0-2.
That slider's a little bit too high. I was going to have to get it down a little bit, trying to get the hitters to miss it. And that was his problem last year, just the location of his slider. It wasn't consistently good. But now he needs to take that pitch a little bit further off the plate.
Upstairs with a fastball.
So now, if I'm Luke Maile, I'd back it up with another fastball inside.
Because he might be leaning out over the plate.
He's thinking it's going to be a breaking ball. And Ramirez obviously very experienced. O comes back with it.
Yep, O shook to the fastball. And he got him.
Yeah, that's a great sequence by O, and he shook to get to that fastball. He threw one up and in, straightened up Ramirez, then he came right back with it for the strikeout. O shook to get this fastball and blows it by Ramirez. He was looking for possibly a breaking ball, maybe even the splitter, but that fastball, that's the pitch O wanted.
So a big first out here in the top of the 8th inning. Ramirez looking agitated in that Boston dugout. And a swing and a foul back by J.D. Martinez, who has the biggest hit of the night. There were 2 men on, 2 men out in the 5th inning. Marco Estrada was still in the game at that point, with the Blue Jays leading 3-2. And Martinez lined one the other way just over the fence into the visiting bullpen for a 3-run homer. One and one the count. Oh, the 3rd pitcher of the night for the Blue Jays. Estrada 5 runs in 5 innings. Loop 2 perfect innings, 6 up, 6 down. The Blue Jays certainly added some experience to the bullpen this year, bringing in O, Axford, and Clippard. All guys who have been around a while, all guys who have been closers at the big league level at one point.
And Chew, you talk to the younger relievers down in the bullpen, and they're all complimentary for what Clippard, Axford, and O have brought to this bullpen. Many of them have told me that this is the greatest mix of pitchers they've had in their pen for the last several years. Everybody helping everybody. The veterans have a lot of experience to pass on.
There's another slider in the middle of the plate, and that's the biggest difference between O of 2016 and O since. When he buries it down and away, he'll get his outs, but that slider's been cutting the plate in half.
Yeah, and I think the catchers are going to have to make an adjustment, and when you call for the slider, you're going to have to sit a little further off the plate.
Full count.
Another opportunity for O to throw that fastball, as he did to Ramirez. They've tried to throw everything up with Moreland on deck. O has allowed a base runner in each of his previous 11 appearances.
In the air to right center. Pilar wants it and has it for out number 2.
The Lawn and Garden event is on now until May 15th, only at Home Hardware and Building Center locations. Here's how.
Former Blue Jay David Price looking on from the Red Sox dugout. Blue Jays didn't see him in this series.
A couple of natives of Tennessee having a chat on the dugout bench.
Slow curveball, 69 miles an hour there from O. This is up and away ball one to Mitch Moreland, who's 0 for 3 on the night.
That's the splitter. A little bit of a late tail on it, and he throws that effectively. He'll throw all 4 pitches: fastball, curveball, slider, and a split. Use that as his off-speed pitch.
And the fastball lifted in the air to left center. It's Pilar again. And oh, with a nice 1-2-3 half inning. Time now for a Blue Jays Central update. Here are Jamie Campbell and Cliff Floyd in the Samsung broadcast studio.
Rogers Center gates 1 and 5 and every in-stadium kiosk. For more information, visit jshop.ca or call 1-877-JSHOP. Dan.
Thank you, Hazel. Bottom of the 8th here at the Rogers Center. 1-run game. Barnes back on the mound for the Red Sox. Cleanup hitter Yangervis Solarte now batting for the left side. 0 for 2 hit by a pitch against Chris Sale. He's got one thing on his mind, Buck. Tying the game.
Yeah, and he took a swing expecting to get a fastball and got that hard curveball. 6 home runs so far for Solarte. He's off to a good start in the power department. His average has dropped a bit of late.
And you can see at times pitchers preying on his aggressiveness, knowing how anxious he is to do something big with the bat. Another breaking ball, and it's 0-2. Last 3 years with the Padres, Solarte hit 14, 15, and 18 home runs, averaging about 500 at-bats a season. If he plays that much this year, he's got a chance for a new career high in homers, given that this is a better hitter's park than Petco, that's for sure. 266 lifetime hitter. Wouldn't chase this time, and looking out at Barnes as if to say, come on, man, you got me twice, you're not going to get me a third time.
You see Granderson is ready. He got his bat in hand, helmet in hand, standing by.
Presumably for the guy that he's standing beside, Randall Grichuk, who is due up 4th.
See that little sign from Vasquez right at the end after he called for the fastball. He gave a motion, I want it up. Make sure you get it up, and Solarte laid off. They haven't thrown him a strike yet, and it's 2-2. Two on the way.
That ball was supposed to be inside and maybe up, and it wound up down and away, a full count.
Yeah, if Vasquez is set up down and away, they probably get that called a strike. Solarte has drawn 14 walks this season. He's gotten on base with regularity.
Breaking ball for strike 3 called.
Boy, Barnes was very patient throwing that pitch. He knew he didn't have to throw a real hammer curveball. He just threw a get me over curveball on 3-2. Very patient, just gets enough break to catch the top of the strike zone. They weren't going to give Solarte a fastball in that full count.
So one down here in the bottom of the 8th, and the batter now is Kevin Pillar. A sac fly, a double, and a fly ball to right field, so officially 1 for 2. Vasquez thought that would be a strike, and for most of the night it has been. Might be that Vasquez had to reach to his left and had to catch it a little bit awkwardly. That was the reason he didn't get the call. That's clearly a strike, and it's 1-1.
96 miles an hour, and Barnes 2-pitch pitcher out of the bullpen. That's all you need when you throw that fastball as well as he does, and then you've got that good curveball.
Blue Jays trying to battle back here in the late innings against the Red Sox as that one bounces in. 2 balls and a strike. Interesting to see, depending on how things go here in the next inning, if Alex Cora will go to Craig Kimbrell. Remember, he gave up the home run to Curtis Granderson 2 nights ago, but he only threw 9 pitches. And then last night he only threw 13 pitches. But you know, it's not like it used to be. Sometimes managers don't want to use a reliever 3 days in a row.
I think in order to win the series, he's going to have to, especially with no Joe Kelly available, who has been really throwing the ball well.
Two balls and a strike. On the way and high for ball 3. So the count firmly in Pillar's favor right now, but the Blue Jays down a run in the 8th inning. Infielders back, outfielders straight away. And the 3-1 fastball jammed him, and it's fouled off. A full count.
Well, before this inning, Christian Vasquez went to Matt Barnes on the bench and talked about the hitters he was going to face, Solarte, Pillar, and Gurriel in this inning. Vasquez obviously has seen them all night long, and he's just giving Barnes some good information about how he wants to approach those first 3 hitters. And he's a terrific young catcher, good leader behind the plate.
3-2. Way inside, and Pillar will draw a walk. They'll have a potential tying run on base with 1 out here in the 8th inning. The guy, of course, who can steal a base every now and again as well.
This is where it gets very interesting in the Blue Jays' favor. The Red Sox have 2 catchers that throw very well, but they haven't thrown out a base stealer all season. They are 0 for 10, and Granderson's coming on, and he's going to bat for Gurriel. So you take a shot with him right here after Pillar gets on base. And we mentioned how Granderson has performed so well as a pinch hitter. But now, Pillar is a threat to steal. He's 4 for 4. And as we mentioned, Vasquez is 0 for 7 trying to gun down runners.
It's just surprising that Granderson's hitting for Gurriel and not for Grichuk, who's due up next.
No, I think you have to take a shot right here because it's 1 out in this situation. You can't afford not to have Granderson hit in this situation. If Gurriel hits in a double play, you've lost your opportunity to use him.
Dramatic moment 2 nights ago, of course, for Curtis Granderson. The Red Sox, of course, with a left-handed batter up, as is almost always the case, they've got the shift on, but because there's a runner at first and they want to try to start a double play or at least force the lead runner. That's why Nunez isn't way out in right field. He is in tighter. If a ground ball's hit to him, they will try to turn two. But the way they're stationed too, it would have to be Lynn who comes over to cover second. Devers is too far. So again, Buck, because of the shift, you've got guys being asked to do something they don't do very often.
Yeah, and I'm going to throw another little wrinkle, and people hear me say this all the time. This is where the double play rule really becomes punitive to the offensive team, because the second baseman doesn't have to worry about Pilar crashing into him trying to break up a double play.
1 strike on Granderson. Fastball just outside, ball 2.
Curtis has been so consistent in working pitchers to get a pitch to hit. With each pitch, he reprograms. Okay, he did that. Now he's going here. And that's what he did against Kimbrough when he hit the home run on a 2-0 fastball.
Check swing by Granderson. Nicely done. Ball 3. Blue Jay bullpen. Barnes, presumably, if the Jays don't score at all this half inning. Osuna, if they do. And Randall Grichuk on deck now, with the Granderson having hit for Gurriel. Boy, is this a big pitch. Ball 4. 2 men on with 1 out.
Well, if there's ever a guy that needed a big hit, it's Randall Grichuk. Dana Lavanci, the pitching coach, out to help Barnes and Vasquez get through this inning. We saw Devin Travis get off the schneid with his first home run and first triple of the season. And everybody in that dugout pulling for Grichuk right now. Hit a flare, hit a double, move the runners. This has been a late inning team all season long, and again the bullpen allowed the Blue Jays to get into this situation. Luke with 2 perfect innings, and an inning in the 8th where he retired to side in order as well.
So the tying run is at second. The go-ahead run is at first with 1 down in the 8th inning for Grichuk. And the pitch. Fastball taken a little high, ball 1. Borderline call goes the Blue Jays' way. Gurriel, Morales, Diaz, among others, looking on from that third base dugout. 1-0. At the knees, 1-1. Pretty good speed on for the Blue Jays. Pilar at second. Granderson, he can still run some. He's at first. Trying to keep Pilar close. Nunez is out at second. And the 1-1. A swing and a chopper weakly past the mound. Lynn charges, high throw, and a big stretch by Moreland to record the out at first as the runners advance.
Boy, Lynn got rid of that thing very quickly. Moreland with a good stretch over at first. DeMarlo Hale checking with the video room, see what they've got. Well, watch how quickly the shortstop unloads. Grichuk chops it over the mound. Lynn throws, looked like in plenty of time. Moreland appeared to keep his foot on the base. Get a better look at it here, whether or not he came off the base. He's there in contact. I don't know. Did he get off the base there? Came off to go straight up. He didn't come off. He went off the base up in his stretch.
And the Blue Jays will ask for a review of this. No reason not to at this late stage of the game.
No.
Call on the field is out. So if it's inconclusive, it'll stay that way. Is there enough evidence in the mind of the umpires back in New York who are in the video replay room to overturn it?
Boy, it looks like he lost contact with the base there.
Yeah.
Tim Leeper has a good look at it, and he's watching the foot. He indicated he thought he was off. He looks like he's off there. Now, do they have the same angle in New York? Whether or not he loses contact, does he come off right there? He's in the air.
He looks off.
Yeah.
He looks in the air.
He is in the air there.
Yeah, and he definitely doesn't get back down in time. The only question is, was he off the bag before the ball got there? He definitely didn't get back in time.
There are 3 outcomes with this video review. It can be confirmed, the call stands, or overturned if there's clear and convincing evidence that the call on the field was incorrect.
Here it comes. Wow.
Well, you just don't know. I mean, we didn't have a definitive angle, but it appeared as though he came off the base, and then it's a matter of when did he catch the ball? Was he still in contact with the base? That was a tough one.
So second and third, 2 down, as opposed to what could have been bases loaded, 1 out. Now it's up to Luke Maley, who's had some big moments early in the season with the bat. He's 0 for 3 tonight. 2 men in scoring position. And a fastball up and in for ball 1. Look at those numbers. With runners in scoring position, 7 for 8. Started the year 7 for 7, didn't he? I think the 1 out was in his last opportunity with a runner in scoring position. Sharp breaking ball, evens it up.
Yeah, and that's interesting that Pilar has to put that in his mind. He's the runner at third, that Barnes uses that curveball a lot. He's got to be on his toes should there be a ball in the dirt.
Chop foul, and it's 1-2. For the first, say, 2.5 weeks of the season, the Blue Jays were doing a tremendous job with the runners in scoring position. They have cooled off quite a bit, under 200 in the last 6 games, and they were bound to come back to the pack a little bit. Couldn't sustain what they were doing. Still near 300 as a team on the season. But as we mentioned last night, sometimes it's not how much you hit. Just as important is when you do that hitting. Swing and a miss. Pump of the fist from Vasquez. And the Blue Jays will leave a couple of men on in the bottom of the 8th. Barnes had to work for it. He walked 2, but gets a big strikeout to get out of it.
Presented by Honda. You can count on us to get home safe. Honda, official vehicle of the Toronto Blue Jays and proud fan since 1977.
Another 1-run game. They've all been like that so far in this series. The Red Sox trying to take 2 out of 3 here in Toronto, and they lead the Blue Jays 5-4. Going to the top of the 9th, and the new pitcher for the Jays is Danny Barnes.
Luke retired all 6 he faced. Retired the 3 he faced. Now it's over to Danny Barnes, who's off to a good start. This is his 14th game of the season.
Aledmus Diaz in the game at short after Gurriel was lifted for a pinch hitter. Barnes was victimized by the Mookie Betts home run in the 7th inning last night, and as a result took the loss. It was the 2nd home run of the night for Betts a night ago. He'll face Eduardo Nunez, Rafael Devers, and Christian Vasquez here tonight. As we sneak a peek ahead to the bottom of the 9th inning, the Blue Jays will send up Devin Travis, Kendrys Morales, and Teoscar Hernandez. And it will indeed be Craig Kimbrell for the 3rd night in a row.
Yeah, he hadn't pitched a lot prior to this series. So they're going to crank him up again tonight.
And Barnes cranks one up against Eduardo Nunez for the first out. Yeah, the Texas Rangers coming to town tomorrow night. 7 o'clock tomorrow, 4 o'clock Saturday, 1 o'clock Sunday. Most of just about all the Saturday home games are 4 o'clock games this year. The Blue Jays trying out something new. And Marcus Stroman will be on the mound Friday night, tomorrow night, against left-hander Mike Minor. The Blue Jays seeing a couple of lefties in this series, and they'll see a couple of lefties in the Texas series as well. Stroman still looking for his first win of the season. An injury-depleted Texas team that does not have the look of a contender. Didn't really have it, I don't think, that much even before the injuries, but they're in a bit tough right now. They're using a lot of guys that haven't been in the major leagues very long because of injuries to the likes of Odor and Andrus and Beltran. Danny Barnes is bringing it tonight.
Good fastball. As Devers chases that high fastball, he picked up a sac fly in the 4th inning. A good at bat. Hit the ball deep enough to deep center field to pick up the RBI.
By the way, back to the replay review, the close play at first base. You said there are 3 outcomes: confirmed, stands, or overturned. And MLB puts out an email in the aftermath of each ruling, and the call stands, which means they're not necessarily confirming it, but they're saying there wasn't enough evidence to overturn it. And then you get a brief explanation, and it says, after viewing all relevant angles, the replay official, who's an umpire back in New York, could not definitively determine that the fielder's foot, Mitch Moreland's foot, was off the base when the ball contacted the interior of his glove. So the call stands. Up and in at 94 from Barnes, and that's ball 4 to Devers. Now Vasquez. Runner is going, and the pitch swung on and hit to center field. Pilar is there to make the catch and race back to first as Devers.
Both the middle infielders were going to the bag to decoy Devers into a slide. He alertly hit the bag, slid, popped up, and went back to first. Both Diaz and Travis were converging at second to try to decoy Devers into thinking there was a play. They got him to slide, but he reacted very quickly. Watch how they both go there and decoy as if they got a double play ball, but Devers picks up on it and he's able to get back in time.
So 2 down for Tsu-Wei Lin, who came on earlier tonight for Brock Holt. Who pulled up between first and second, suffering some tightness in his hamstring.
That might be good timing for the Red Sox if indeed he has to go on the DL, because Xander Bogaerts is supposed to be activated tomorrow.
Yep.
Their regular shortstop.
And that's why when you sit there with a manager or a GM and you say, okay, when this guy comes back, what's going to happen? Like the Donaldson question gets asked every day. GMs or managers will sometimes say, you know, these things have a way of sorting themselves out.
Don't they ever? You don't make a decision until you have to.
2-0. And a swing and a foul back. One is going to wind up in the 500 level, up and above us and to the left. 2-1. Blue Jays trying to avoid going 2-5 in this 7-game stretch, playing exclusively the Yankees and the Red Sox. Lost 3 out of 4 to the Yankees. They've split the first 2 with Boston. Runner is going. Throw down is high. Tag is not in time. That's a stolen base for Devers.
Yeah, if that ball is on the bag, they throw him out, but Melee's throw was high. He's now just caught 1 of 4 base stealers this season. A strong throw. Devers gets a break at first. For Devers, that's his first stolen base. He was caught once. But if the throw is near the bag, the tag can be applied, but you can see Diaz had to jump for it.
Pitch was ball 3. So the 3-1 now on the way to Linden. A swing and a miss. So the ball up and in a full count. Barnes trying to end it right here. Doesn't want to have to deal with Mookie Betts, who's on deck. One more pitch coming. "35th round pick out of Princeton, Danny Barnes."
Yeah, anytime you get beyond the 25th round and you get a big leaguer, you've done a heck of a job.
35th round pick on the mound, 32nd round pick out in center field. Inside for ball 4. Second walk issue this half inning by Barnes.
And now Barnes will have to face Mookie Betts because of the 2 walks. And Betts hit a home run to right last night in the 7th inning off Danny Barnes. The second home run that Barnes has surrendered. But Melee goes out to make sure they have their thoughts together. So how they're going to approach this.
So 2 on, 2 out. And Barnes facing Betts for the second time in as many nights. 5-4 Boston, top 9. Lifted in the air to shallow center field. This should do it. And Pilar's there. That's all for the Red Sox. And we'll go to the bottom of the 9th at Rogers Center. The Blue Jays with one last crack at it. Devin Travis, who's homer tonight, will lead it off. Kendrys Morales due up second, and then Teoscar Hernandez against the closer, Greg Kimbrell. It'll be Craig Kimbrell on for the third night in a row for the Red Sox. Gave up the Granderson home run 2 nights ago. Got the save last night, looking for the save again tonight. He's got 297 career saves and a 91% career save success rate. But he has the slimmest of margins to deal with tonight as he comes on with a 1-run lead. A couple of defensive changes for the Red Sox. Jackie Bradley Jr. comes off the bench into center field, and that'll push Mookie Betts back over to right. JD Martinez is out of the game.
Kimbrell faced 3 batters, retired to sign an order in the ninth last night through just 13 pitches.
And Devin Travis will lead it off. Travis hitting his first home run of the season tonight. Solo shot off Chris Sale back in the second, a rocket to left. And he'll take the breaking ball down and away for ball 1. Travis has also grounded out and then tripled and scored. So the best night of the season so far for Devin Travis. 2 extra base hits. Devers even with the bag at third. The rest of the infielders backed up and the outfielders basically straight away. And a fastball pumped in for a strike, 1-1.
Yeah, you got to think that Devin is thinking about a fastball in this at bat. He's hit both balls very hard, homer and a triple. You can see the defense is as straight away as you can get.
Lays off, 2 balls and a strike.
Kimbrell, 2 pitches, that hard breaking ball and a very good fastball. He'll throw his fastball in the upper 90s.
Three balls and a strike. He's only thrown him 1 fastball so far.
And Devin took it. So now you got to make sure you get a good pitch to hit. You're thinking about an area where you can hit an extra base hit. You get the opportunity to get a 3-1 pitch from Kimbrell. You've got to really keyhole it and get something you can drive. Don't swing at any borderline pitches on this 3-1 pitch.
Fastball swing and a miss, 3-2. Travis considering his options. He knows it's 1 of 2 pitches. He just doesn't know which one it is. There's not a lot of mystery with Kimbrell, like many closers, but the stuff is great. 3-2. Fastball swung on and missed, 1 down. And now for a preview of what's coming up on Sportsnet Central. Here are Ken and Ivanka. All right, Ivanka, Ken, thank you very much. Here's Kendrys Morales with the Blue Jays down 1 and down to their last 2 outs here in the bottom of the 9th. Morales picked up an RBI on a ground out as a pinch hitter back in the 7th. Will he get a first pitch fastball here? He will not. He may never again get a first pitch fastball.
Yeah, no, they really throw him a lot of breaking balls. He just has to show the patience and be able to recognize it out of the hand that it's a breaking ball. He's a terrific fastball hitter, and he has been vulnerable to the breaking balls.
The 1-0. There's a fastball, and he's popped it up. Now the shift was on. This is a long run. Vasquez and Devers, and it's Devers in foul territory. Had to come a long way to get that ball. 2 down.
Morales got his fastball from Kimbrell. It got underneath it, skied it into foul territory.
So the Blue Jays down to their final out here. The Red Sox an out away from taking 2 out of 3. It'll be Teoscar Hernandez, who's 1 for 2, a double and a strikeout. He's also walked twice.
Hit a first pitch fastball his last time up for an opposite field double.
Outside corner for a strike. First time that Hernandez has faced Kimbrel. Close, but no. And it's a ball and a strike. Scoreboard here in the ballpark says 2-0. So you may see Ramon de Jesus, the home plate umpire, clarify things by telling everybody it's 1-1. Fastball at 97. Blows it right by him. 1-2.
And look at the location of that fastball on the outside corner. And you factor in his stuff, and then the ability to locate both his curveball and his fastball makes him tough to hit.
Justin Smoke on deck if Hernandez can get something started. 5-4 Boston, bottom 9. 1-2 on the way, and a swing and a foul back.
97.
The Blue Jays did some damage tonight against Chris Sale. Hit a couple of home runs off him. Got to him for 3 runs in 6 innings, and they got to that magic 4-run mark. Blue Jays are 13-0 on the season, scoring 4 or more. But that is definitely in jeopardy right now. Again, the 1-2. And a fastball that again Hernandez fights off.
Yeah, he's had good at bats all night long. I mean, that's a tough pitch to get the bat on the ball. Fastball 96, down and away. But he shortens up with 2 strikes. He's made some dramatic strides as a hitter.
Two down and the bases empty. 1 ball, 2 strikes on Hernandez. The set. The pitch and a breaking ball outside. 2-2.
You still have to use that same approach and don't guess with Kimbrel. Wait for him to turn it loose and identify the pitch. There's no certainty that he's going to throw you a fastball. Just be patient.
Upstairs, a full count now. Again, if Hernandez can get on, Justin Smoke would come to the plate. Smoke is homered tonight, albeit from the other side of the plate. It came against Sale back in the 3rd inning. Got a couple of hits on the night. Let's see what Hernandez can do. Popped him up. This should do it for Boston. Moreland, the first baseman, is there and makes the catch right in front of Nunez. And Kimbrel records career save number 298. J.D. Martinez with the big hit of the night, the 3-run homer back in the 5th inning. And the Red Sox coming to town, Buck. All 3 games, 1-run games. Boston wins 2 of them.
Yeah, and Boston's just so good. You can't afford them those extra opportunities. They had a double play ball early in the game. They didn't convert the double play. That led to 1 run back in the 4th inning. And then J.D. Martinez hit the big 3-run home run. But Boston's a good ball club. They got pretty good pitching. They got good work out of the bullpen, and they're a big power hitter. The only new acquisition for the Red Sox on this team, J.D. Martinez, hit the decisive home run.
And the Red Sox improved their record to a major league best 19-5. The Blue Jays drop to 14-10. Time now for Sportsnet Central. Once again, Ken Reed and Ivanka Osman.